principles and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court begins a new term on Monday, shorthanded and with its future hinging on the outcome of the November 8th presidential election. There will only be 8 justices, not 9, for the first time in decades, starting a new session. The docket is also absent big-ticket cases involving immigration reform, affirmative action, abortion, same-sex marriage, and Obamacare, according to the Washington Post. Those are the topics that in recent years have put the Supreme Court in the spotlight. This time, the docket will be more humble, but with a tinge of contemporary topics, including free speech, the role of race in criminal justice, and the treatment of transgender students. Work begins with the High Court having no way to know how ideology will line up, according to the Constitution Daily. The future will be determined by whether President Barack Obama will be allowed to name a successor or whether the task falls to a future president. The uncertainty could last through February or later, depending on how the White House and Senate work together and make up their minds on a successor. The vacancy occurred with the unexpected death of Justice Antonin Scalia, who died nearly 8 months ago. There are also 3 current justices who are now older than the other members who recently retired from the bench, which suggests there could be more departures to fill. Are you an advocate for free market money? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports the engineer of the New Jersey commuter train that crashed on Thursday told investigators he was fully rested but has no memory of the incident, and a recovered data recorder was not working, according to the National Transportation Safety Board on Sunday. The derailed train at a Hoboken station killed a 34-year-old woman on the platform and injured 108 people during the morning rush hour. The terminal has some 60,000 people pass on a typical weekday. NTSB Vice Chairman Bella Denzar told a news conference that the agency was still in the fact-gathering phase of the investigation. New Jersey Transit said on Sunday that all rail service into and out of the Hoboken terminal remained suspended. Denzar said Thomas Gallagher, a 29-year New Jersey Transit veteran who was injured when the train derailed, told investigators the train was running at 10 miles per hour when it approached the station. Investigators at the time of the incident could not ascertain the speed of the train when it was near the station. When interviewed by investigators, Gallagher said he conducted various procedures, including checking the train's speedometer and putting his cell phone away during the trip. He also said he had no memory of the incident. The train's conductor, meanwhile, told investigators he did not recall anything unusual before the crash. Recovery of evidence has been slowed due to damage to the station's columns, leaving the facility unstable. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Already struggling to get by on the basic necessities of day-to-day life, lunatics across the nation confirmed today that they are now barely able to afford the quickly rising price of car meat.
I've got 14 Barbara Streisands to feed and 3 more on the way. Day and night they shout, "We're hungry, Admiral. We want grade A Honda-loaf. We want Nissan truck."
I just want to know what Bruno Mars plans to do about this. He sits around all day eating Audi ribeye and limousine bouillabaisse while we scrape by with taxi shanks. Meanwhile, the men at arms are still overseas fighting the war on Wheel of Fortune.
For more on this story, check this week's Onion Review.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you're welcome to join us here. Of course, you can take control of the airwaves. You can bring up anything that you want to discuss, and you can do that toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM if you'd like to reach out to us that way and sound almost as good as if you're sitting in the studio with us. And in that studio here in Keene, New Hampshire, it's Ian,
Melanie,
and Cody.
And Melanie making a huge journey to come all the way out here and be on the radio tonight. Appreciate that. You now live in Manchester.
Yes.
As of this weekend.
Last Tuesday.
Okay, it seemed like it was this weekend, but yes. Anyway, here you are back in Keene. So welcome back. How's the big city treating you so far?
Pretty good so far. I've pretty much just been to my house and the grocery store. So, well, no, that's not true. We went to all the state agencies, and me and my boyfriend harassed all the state agents.
Oh, excellent!
When I was changing my paperwork over, so that was fun.
Did you get video?
No.
That makes it even more fun. When you do that. Speaking of video, by the way, there's a pretty big news story here that I think we should lead with, and then we'll talk about Julian Assange and what's going to be happening tomorrow with some sort of special so-called October surprise for Hillary Clinton that he has planned. And you've got that story, Cody. But big news coming out of RT and the Bureau of Investigative Journalism. The Bureau of Investigative Journalism, which I'm actually not very familiar with, has a very lengthy report about this. I'm going to share the RT piece because it truncates it, keeps it a little bit simpler. About a PR firm paid by the Pentagon, apparently like a decade ago now, to create terrorist videos, fake terrorist videos. And I think this is particularly interesting because as we've been watching over the years here on Free Talk Live, one of the things that we've said about some of these videos coming out of like ISIS. Now, this isn't about ISIS. This is pre-ISIS, as I understand it.
Much older.
But like even the ISIS videos and the ones prior to that have had a level of production quality that has been impressive. Now, I don't know, Cody, you actually worked in the television industry. Have you seen any of these terrorist videos at all? Like not just Al-Qaeda, but ISIS and anything at all within the last 6 years?
It's
or
really
decade?
not the type of stuff, if I'm going to go on YouTube, that I'm going to be looking up.
A lot of it you can't even find on YouTube because some of the more recent ones, especially out of ISIS, are particularly violent, and that stuff, for whatever reason, it doesn't really last on YouTube. You have to go to sites like
because somebody goes and looks up a terrorist video and then reports it for being violent.
Right. And I don't know. I guess violent videos are allowed on YouTube, but for whatever reason, the actual real cutting off of it, like you can put clips from a movie that are violent, but like an actual cutting off of a real head, apparently that doesn't fly on YouTube, because maybe they would argue that it assists the terrorists in some way by showing these videos.
Well, I mean, if you were running YouTube, would you feel good about those videos being on there?
Well, I'm not running YouTube, but if I were running if I were running a video sharing website, I would want to be known for being a sharing site which doesn't censor news content. And so no, I wouldn't run YouTube that way.
And I mean, it's news. It's not like, hey, let's just go find the most graphic thing we can for the sake of being graphic. Like, it's relevant. If they're real, it's relevant. If they're fake, that's relevant too. I mean, it's not. I
agree. And so it's hard to track these videos down, the ones from the alleged ISIS videos. Now, I say alleged because we don't know who's making the ISIS videos for sure. There are people claiming to be ISIS, but is that the U.S. government? This news story might suggest that it may very well be that ISIS may have always been a creation of the CIA or the U.S. government. But in this
would not surprise me.
Right.
So what in the videos have you noticed that kind of seems like it's high production quality, like HD video?
They've got HD. Yeah, they've got HD and teleprompter,
There's
obviously.
no shakiness, which is weird if you're filming in a cave with some dude just
Well,
standing there with
a tripod isn't a particularly high production quality thing, and certainly video has gotten cheaper to produce now than it has ever been in the history of mankind. So it's certainly within the reach of the ISIS folks to put together decent looking videos with today's technology, but it's just interesting how good it actually does look. And this news story here, and I'll jump into it, about actually published over at RT, about the Pentagon paying $540 million to a UK PR firm to create fake terrorist videos in Iraq in a secret propaganda campaign exposed by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism. PR firm Bell Pottinger, known for its array of controversial clients, including the Saudi government and Chilean dictator Augusto Pinochet's foundation, worked with the U.S. military to create the propaganda in a secretive operation. The firm reported to the CIA, the National Security Council, and the Pentagon on the project with a mandate to portray al-Qaeda in a negative light and track suspected sympathizers. So the idea was, I was reading the Bureau's full piece about this, the idea was they would put these videos out there and look and see who was watching them, and then, I guess, use that information somehow. The White House and General David Petraeus, the former general who shared classified information with his mistress, signed off on the content produced by the agency. The Bell-Pottinger operation started soon after the U.S. invasion of Iraq, and it was tasked with promoting the, quote, democratic elections, unquote, for the administration before moving on to more lucrative psychological and informational operations. Former employee Martin Wells told the Bureau that he found himself working in Iraq after being hired as a video editor by Bell-Pottinger. Within 48 hours of being hired, he was landing in Baghdad to edit content for secret psychological operations at Camp Victory. The firm created television ads showing al-Qaeda in a negative light, as well as creating content to look as though it had come from so-called Arabic TV. Crews were sent out to film bombings with low-quality video. The firm would then edit it to make it look like it was actual news footage. They would craft scripts for Arabic soap operas where characters would reject terrorism with happy consequences. The firm also created fake al-Qaeda propaganda videos, which were then planted by the military in the very homes that they raided. Employees were given specific instructions to create the videos, like, quote, we need to make this style of video and we've got to use al-Qaeda's footage, or we need it to be 10 minutes long and it needs to be in this file format and we need to encode it in this manner. The videos were created to play on Real Player, which needs an internet connection to run. The CDs were embedded with a code linking to Google Analytics, which allowed the military to track IP addresses that the videos were played on. According to Wells, the videos were picked up in Iran, Syria, and the United States. If 48 hours, said Wells, if one 48 hours or a week later shows up in another part of the world, then that's the more interesting one, and that's what they're looking for more because that gives you a trail, he said. The Pentagon confirmed the PR firm did work for them under the Information Operations Task Force, creating content that they say was so-called truthful. Of course, when it comes from the military, it must be truthful.
Clearly, this is a spin campaign, after the fact.
They've been caught red-handed here.
What does that mean, though, truthful? Truthful in that they did it?
Yeah, I mean, and that doesn't even sound like a denial to me. Like, the stuff in the video, it was true. Like, it was a reenactment, whatever, but it was true. Like, it's not even a denial.
It was truthy.
I don't get it. So, I take it this guy is the one who leaked this information?
Yes, this Martin Wells is the leaker here. He worked for the Bell-Pottinger, who was one of their editors.
I wonder if he's been suicided yet.
Well, not yet. He's still out there, apparently. The firm did work under the Joint Psychological Operations Task Force, and the Pentagon said it could not comment on the operations of the JPOTF, that Psychological Operations Task Force. U.S. law prohibits the government from using propaganda on its population, hence the use of an outside firm to create the content. So apparently, if the government hires somebody, then it's not making its own propaganda, so that's okay.
And that's not how agency law works for anyone else.
Now, what do you mean by that, agency law?
So if there's a law against me doing something, and so
you can't hire someone to do something.
I can't hire you to do it.
Right.
Then
if it's illegal for you
doing it.
If it's illegal for you to kill somebody, it's illegal for you to hire someone to kill somebody.
Right.
So you can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We'll tell you more about there's a little bit more to go here about what happened with Bell-Pottinger, and I'll see if I can dig through the longer piece, because, again, this is the RT kind of summary of the story. But if you think about it, this is pretty huge news. $540 million. They had like a $100 million a year contract over several years to just produce propaganda for the U.S. government, the CIA, the military, to make al-Qaeda look bad. Not to say al-Qaeda is a good bunch of folks. Toll-free number, though, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. TLC Laser Eye Centers is now offering great prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved all-laser LASIK technology for less than what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-929-5733. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra $400 off your all-laser LASIK procedure. That's $200 off per eye. We've already performed over 2 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve for less than what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-929-5733. 1-800-929-5733.
You are what you eat? No, not true. You are what you can absorb, because not absorbing nutrition leads to nutritional deficiency and degenerative diseases. Medication does not fix nutritional deficiencies, and North American soil is now 85% nutritionally depleted. That means your body is not getting the vitamins it needs from just grown foods. Introducing Protovite, the world's first and only full-spectrum protosomal supplement. Protovite is a proprietary liquid system that allows premium quality nutrients to positively affect the blood in an astonishing 5 minutes. That's rapid absorption. Then Protovite liquid continues to release sustained nutrition in the stomach, intestines, and colon over a prolonged period of time. See Protovite in action. Watch our amazing 2-minute live blood cell video today at TrueHealthFacts.com. That's TrueHealthFacts.com. Or call 502-410-3411. 502-410-3411. Protovite is nutrition you can feel. Protovite is nutrition that gets in.
Officials at PepsiCo announced today the upcoming launch of Mountain Dew Cineblast after the company's market research team unknowingly fell victim to a malicious focus group that convinced them cinnamon-flavored Mountain Dew was the next big thing.
We were, the people in the focus group, they couldn't get enough of it. And then they said, the more cinnamon, the better. So we are going to put in more cinnamon. We are really excited for people to try this product.
According to PepsiCo's data, all gathered from a single group of ill-intentioned respondents, customers of all ages will love the new soft drink's murky brownish-green color and will soon be lining up to try the carbonated beverage jam-packed with ground cinnamon. Various members of the focus group told reporters they believed the company had made a great decision.
Cineblast is the best. I mean, I can't wait to tell all of my friends to go buy this thing.
Yeah. The only way they can make it better is if they took a couple of raw eggs, mixed them up in the bottle. People would go nuts.
This is the Onion News Network.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
On the second Saturday of every month, the Texas Republic Congress meets in a joint session. To learn how you can attend or become a member of Congress, visit thetexasrepublic.com. And together, we can liberate Texas.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free tonight. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And also, I do want to let you know about healthexcellenceselect.com. They give you a proactive health assessment daily and no-charge 24-hour access to doctors. It's free market healthcare, a company that can give you freedom from health insurance. In fact, health insurance, it's fine for what it does, but it pays for treating sickness, and it gives you nothing for being healthy. And doesn't that incentivize illness instead of health? HIPAA has messed up medical records so much that one doctor doesn't even know what the others are doing. How about a medical information card to give to EMS, first responders, the emergency room, or whatever medical professional you want? Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and the price. healthexcellenceselect.com. That's healthexcellenceselect.com. A little bit more about the Pentagon, the U.S. government hiring for $540 million taxpayer dollars, a company to make fake terrorist videos. This news is it's out, and this is big news. Let's go to Charlie, though, first in Arizona, listening to K-Talks. Hello, Charlie.
Hi, guys.
Hey there.
Dr. Goebbels would be proud, wouldn't he?
Right, the old Nazi propaganda chief.
Oh, well, yeah, we got to remember, it was Minister of Enlightenment and Propaganda.
Oh, really? I didn't know that part of his title.
Oh, yeah.
The Minister of Enlightenment.
I believe
Has a ring to
culture
it.
as well. But that's not what I called it.
All right.
The good news from the Western Front here is Pete Santilli, after 8 months in jail, was released from jail in Oregon. Charges were dropped. He
Charges
now,
were dropped?
Has to face the same situation in Nevada, which is occurring this week. But he is out of jail. And
okay, wait. So Pete Santilli, just for people that don't know, this is one of the guys who was arrested in the Malheur Federal Wildlife Reserve occupation. He was there as an independent journalist to be there with the folks who were there and report on that situation. I guess he hosts his own internet radio show, I believe, and the federal agents arrested him and charged him along with the rest of the occupiers that were there in the Malheur Wildlife Reserve, which was in Oregon, if you recall. That happened earlier this year. So you're saying that he was held in jail for 8 months, and then they ultimately dropped the charges?
They
but
offered him like 2 different plea deals. One was like 6 years.
But he didn't take it?
They dropped it, but he stuck to his guns, and they dropped the charges. They were dropped without prejudice, so that means they can refile up to 7 years, but he's out of jail.
And then did you say he was facing charges from Nevada?
Yeah, he's in Nevada now, and similar, because he did the same thing at the Bundy ranch.
The Bundy Ranch. So they are charging him for the.
He was a reporter.
Just to be clear, they're not charging him in the Malheur situation. They dropped those charges, but they are charging him for the Bundy Ranch.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so he's not out of the.
What's going? And I heard that as of yesterday. I mean, that's as current as you can get. But yeah, I'm glad to see him out. That's.
So he is not out of the woods yet, however. Even though he may be out of jail, he's still technically on bail on the other charges. And
well, and plus they still have the sword of Damocles over him, from
for 7
Oregon.
years. Right.
But I thought you would like to know.
Thanks for the update on that, Charlie. I appreciate hearing from you tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. The Malheur Federal Wildlife Refuge occupiers, I believe, are currently on trial. I don't know how long that trial is expected to last. We had one of our listeners call in last week. His, I guess, sister-in-law was one of the first defense witnesses. So sounds like as of last week, defense had started their case, so maybe it'll wrap up sometime this week. But I have not been following it closely. If you have, and you've got an update for us, please feel free to dial in and join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So we were talking about the Pentagon that hired a PR firm at the cost of $540 million to produce propaganda, fake propaganda about the terrorist group Al-Qaeda. The story here from RT, the Pentagon did confirm that the PR firm worked for them under the Information Operations Task Force. The Joint Psychological Operations Task Force was also involved, and they can't comment, apparently, on those operations. The documents show the Pentagon paid $540 million to Bell Pottinger, which was the PR firm in contracts between 2007 and 2011, with another contract for $120 million in 2006. So actually, it looks like more than $540 million. It looks like $660 million. The firm ended its work with the Pentagon in 2011. In 2009, it was reported that the Pentagon had hired a controversial firm, the Rendon Group, to monitor the reporting of journalists embedded with the U.S. military to assess whether they were giving positive coverage to its missions. So if you're embedded with the military and you don't go along with whatever the military's official line is about whatever war it is you've been embedded in, then you're going to get cut out.
Yeah.
Which isn't a surprise. I mean, this is how the news media and the police work. So like on a local level, I don't know if you ever saw this when you were in Portland, Maine, Cody, but you worked at a radio group there with some of the morning show hosts. You were a producer.
Yep.
But I know that people have told me this, including Gardner Goldsmith, who's a local New Hampshire talk show host. He said that, there's a real attitude at these radio stations of don't rub the police the wrong way, or else they won't send us press releases anymore. The police won't let us know what they're doing. They won't have the police chief come in on, one Friday a month or whatever to talk to the talk show hosts. So there's a real fear within the media about crossing the people in the government.
Right. Well, I spent some time working in the newsroom, and, when you work for a radio or a TV station, you're competing with other stations. So you want to have... you want to be the first person to know that something happened, and when it comes to crime,
break the news.
When it comes to crime, you're going to find out first if you get it directly from the press release from the police.
Correct.
You want to do it that way instead of finding out, that the competition had the story and that you have to kind of jack it from them and reword it and make it your own. So there really wasn't ever a conversation at that station about that being the deal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure that was kind of the policy if anything ever came up where, there was questionable things happening with the police and how, the morning show and the news dissected it and talked about it. I just don't ever really remember running into...
Probably because they never actually took any kind of threatening position toward the police. Probably because the morning show hosts were obedient to the police.
Well, I do remember now. I got in a little bit of trouble one time where I was writing up a news story. I believe it was about a police officer who shot somebody, and I used the word "killed" because it's accurate, right?
Did he die? The person who was shot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So used the word "killed,"
and you got rebuked.
Apparently,
for it?
That was not the right word to use when it comes to the police using guns.
According to who? The news editor?
According to my program director at the time.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I think the opposite needs to be true. The police need to be constantly scrutinized by the media. Call it like
Hunters,
it is.
Anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
This year, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Monday, gold is $2 higher at $1,314 per ounce, and silver is down 11 cents at $19.12 per ounce. Bitcoin is currently trading at $609 US. The recent pullback in silver has created a great opportunity to buy on a dip. To get started today, give Roberts & Roberts Brokerage a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
This is novelist Tom Robbins. When my mother was diagnosed with glaucoma, her conservative Virginia physician told her there was only one treatment that might ease her pain and save her eyesight. That treatment was medical marijuana, which he could not prescribe. I offered to get her some and teach her how to use it effectively, but my father objected because marijuana was against the law. So my mother, who loved to read and walk in nature, was condemned to grow cruelly, unnecessarily blind. Tragedies like this happen all the time, but they don't have to keep happening. To learn more about medical marijuana, call the Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or visit them on the web at mpp.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you are invited to join us right here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Now, how'd you like to try the best pillow you'll ever use, risk-free for 60 days? Talking about My Pillow. It's designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position at night. And I've been using it for the past several months. It's been fantastic. You can try it out for yourself by going to mypillow.com. Use code FTL, like Free Talk Live, to get a special offer, which will actually get you either one MyPillow at half price or two for the price of one. It's up to you. At mypillow.com, use code FTL. And if you don't like it for some reason, in that first 60-day period, you can get your money back. Plus, the pillow itself has a 10-year warranty on it. And by the way, you can put the MyPillow in your washer and dryer, which is like an unprecedented feature that I've never seen on a pillow before in my life. Very cool stuff that we can actually keep the thing clean. MyPillow.com. Use code FTL. As we continue with your calls and your thoughts, whether it's the Pentagon hiring a PR firm for hundreds of millions of dollars to create propaganda for them, to create anti-terror, or actually like propaganda that looks like it was coming from Al-Qaeda. That is on the table. Also coming up, we'll talk about Hillary Clinton maybe being outed for something new tomorrow by WikiLeaks. But first, Tom is on the line in Baltimore. And Tom, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Melanie, and Cody.
Good evening, folks.
Hey, Tom.
I just wanted to point out that in 2012, House Resolution 5736 was passed. It's better known as the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. And what it did was take off the prohibition of the government, the U.S. government, from propagandizing the American public. So now, for the sake of coercing us, they can put out any manner of propaganda, audio, video, print, to further whatever means they would like us to believe.
Well, that's disturbing.
Yeah, it is. And by the way, it was estimated that in the first year after that was passed, the Pentagon spent over $4 billion engaging in such activity.
Well,
and by the way,
go ahead.
I'll leave you with this. I'm hoping you guys will discuss the latest debacle and shame of Director Comey before Congress last Wednesday.
I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
He was before the Oversight Committee relative to the email scandal, and basically was caught lying again. In fact, to the point where he had to say, listen, we're not weasels. And the first thing that came to mind
We're shrews.
The first thing that came to mind was the gentleman doth protesteth too much, way too much. He gave himself away.
Now, who's Comey again? Who is he?
He's the director of the FBI.
Oh, the FBI guy. Okay, got it. Yeah, I don't keep track of who all these bureaucrats are. They always change out the deck chairs on the Titanic, and from one year to the next, they're not always the same person. Tom, thanks for sharing that. Here's something relevant to what you were talking about with the U.S. government. Thank you for the call. With the U.S. government placing propaganda. So this is much larger than this $600-something million deal with this one PR firm. We already told you about how in 2009, the Rendon Group was hired by the Pentagon to monitor the reporting of journalists embedded with the U.S. military to assess whether they were giving positive coverage. But also it was revealed in 2005 that Washington-based PR company The Lincoln Group had been placing articles in newspapers in Iraq which were secretly written by the U.S. military. A Pentagon investigation cleared the group of any wrongdoing.
Wow.
So I suspect that these stories here are just scratching the surface on the amount of propaganda that's actually being put out there, not just in the United States, but around the globe by the Pentagon.
I don't think it's a rare thing. I mean, I had read not too long ago that, I think was either the Pentagon or the DOD that, they spend a lot of money on Hollywood. So when you see movies like, I don't know if you're familiar with White House Down. I never took the time to watch that.
I haven't seen it, but if it is pro-military, then they get money from the military.
Right, and they kind of do a tit-for-tat type of thing. Like, hey, if you want to use our helicopters and our planes and all of our cool stuff, well, you kind of have to have a message that has been pre-approved by all of us.
Exactly. So the script will be sent to the military for whatever the movie is supposed to be, and if the military approves of the script, then you can get all the tanks that you want. No problem. You need an aircraft carrier. You need some helicopters, tanks, whatever. Military will do anything they can to assist with the production.
So the defense budget is also largely an entertainment budget, basically.
That's correct. And propaganda as well, because, movies like Transformers or White House Down or whatever it was, anything that has a pro-military feel, anything that, it's been approved. The script has literally been approved by the U.S. military, and they've been given hundreds of millions of dollars worth of access to this equipment that otherwise, if the military says no, well, then you got to go and fund whatever kind. The producers then have to come up with the money to rent like old military equipment from certain providers, right? Like there are providers that can provide you with a tank or whatever, people that own those things who will rent them out. But all of a sudden your costs go way up, or you got to hire the CGI guys to come in and make fake tanks and fake bombers or whatever.
Right. And I don't know if you've noticed this trend, but it seems like a lot of the blockbuster titles that have been coming out, probably in the last 10, 15 years, it's been a lot of what people call destruction porn, which is just, you probably see that in the Transformers movie, right?
Things go boom.
Massive buildings are just being exploded. And in the first Avengers, I mean, aliens are coming out of space and basically blowing up New York. And then coming back to White House Down, what is it? Well, it's a bunch of terrorists who have attacked the White House. So it seems like if they're working with Hollywood, they can sort of create this visual, terrorist attack type of event without actually even having to do one or wait for one to happen. It still puts the.
You think that has the same effect?
I think it still does. I think people
not as intense.
Much, but I think people get emotionally invested in movies. Like if you go and see, Too Fast, Too Furious. Probably when you hop in your car in the parking lot, you're going to drive a little faster because you're amped up from the movie.
Okay, could be.
So if you get done watching White House Down, the feeling of the movie is be afraid of terrorism, and Gerard Butler and the government are going to come here and save you, and they're going to look cool as hell doing it with all their guns. So, I do think it's definitely the propaganda is still going on.
Right, and that's why the anti-war movies, there are some anti-war movies out there, but they tend to be released on like independent film labels. They tend to not make large theatrical releases, and that's because they don't have the assistance of the U.S. government behind them. To propel the propaganda.
Unfortunately, for whatever reason, peace is just not as exciting when you're watching a movie.
Well, I mean, I've seen some anti-war movies that could be exciting because they're still war movies, but the message is decidedly against the war. And so I think you can still have excitement, you can still have conflict,
Well, yeah, but you can still definitely be pro-peace, especially if you're working on achieving peace. That's probably going to be really violent. That could still be a violent movie where stuff blows up.
That's true. So if you want to join us here, you can. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. So that, I thought, was a pretty big deal because it really confirms some of the suspicions that a lot of people had had. They were going so far as to even make CDs of these propaganda videos and then leave them in places where the soldiers would raid. So, like, one soldier would actually bring in the CD and drop it in there and like, oh, look what I found, guys. You know, it's from the terrorists. And then they'd put it in and act like it was the first time.
Planting evidence. Yeah. It's typical. You know, the thing is, like, yeah, this is big news. Am I surprised by it?
No.
Not really.
No, of course, we're not surprised by it. But, you know, we have to remember we're on the radio. There are people listening who, you know, somebody just got in their car tonight from the airport in some city somewhere where we're on the radio, and they've never heard this news. And it's, you know, even though it's old hat for us and like WikiLeaks and all the scandals, it's all old news to us. It's important to keep bringing these things forward. And this is brand new, by the way. I mean, this report just came out. The story from RT was published yesterday.
I say keep an eye on this guy. Make sure he doesn't end up dead in a mysterious car crash.
You mean the editor who came out and revealed the info?
Whoever it is behind the article, watch your back, guys.
Anybody who works for that firm.
Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. You can join us here. This is Free Talk Live.
The following is an incredible, life-changing free offer for anyone with hearing problems who wants to start hearing everything more clearly again. We're now offering free in-home trials of a revolutionary hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear to anyone who calls this special toll-free number now, 1-800-719-2949. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also qualify for free shipping and free batteries for life. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers. It adjusts to let you find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. Don't miss this special life-changing opportunity to hear everything more clearly again for free with a 100% free in-home trial, free shipping, and even free batteries for life. For free information, call now, 1-800-719-2949. That's 1-800-719-2949. 1-800-719-2949.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson of the Genesis Communications Network. Over the 30-plus years I've been in finance, I can see that the world economy is now at a critical point. Unlimited money creation and runaway debt could trigger a collapse of the financial system. It's imperative that you protect yourself in case of hyperinflation or even deflation. Investment Rarities has put together a survival bag of 200 silver quarters. These 90% silver quarters are dated 1964 and earlier. Each quarter is worth almost $5. If a quarter has already reached $5, the trend is obviously on your side. These survival bags sell for $8.95 delivered. Call 800-328-1860 to order today. Not only can these quarters be used for barter in a brief period of hyperinflation, they have the potential to appreciate 5 to 10 times. Call 800-328-1860. Get one for each member of your family. Call 800-328-1860. That's 800-328-1860.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road underground market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Coming up, the so-called October surprise. What's it going to be? Well, nobody really knows yet, but Julian Assange from WikiLeaks has announced that he will be saying something tomorrow. He was originally going to do it from his balcony at the Ecuadorian embassy, I think, in the UK. And then some sort of security issue came up. They had received some kind of credible threat, and so he decided to not do it from the balcony, but they are going to. They'd canceled it initially, and now they are going to have him make whatever announcement is that he's going to make that supposedly is going to be quite a shot against Hillary Clinton. That is expected to happen tomorrow. And I know, Cody, you've been looking into that story here tonight. If you want to share some of that, or you can call in and bring up anything you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. The Skype username is LRN.FM. So, Cody, what is the story with Assange?
So let me start here, because I've got a couple stories, and one of the stories, the one that was posted on WikiLeaks, said it on Snopes that it couldn't be confirmed really. Although all of this seems pretty...
But it was posted on WikiLeaks.
It was, it was shared through WikiLeaks on their Twitter. The story comes from a website called TruePundit.com, which I've never heard of, so it makes me think it's questionable. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather start with the story I have from Breitbart,
sure.
which
is also questionable.
Doesn't get too far into some of the crazy stuff.
Breitbart is definitely a right-wing news site.
At least I've heard of them. Okay. At least I can start there. So from Breitbart, it says, citing security concerns, WikiLeaks has canceled an in-person October surprise announcement by Julian Assange, which may have theorized will expose election-changing information about Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. WikiLeaks editor Julian Assange was scheduled to appear on the balcony of the Ecuadorian embassy in London on Tuesday, where he has claimed asylum since 2012.
He's been there for I guess almost 5 years now. Not quite.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
To make the announcement, Assange will instead now appear by video live stream on Tuesday for a press conference to discuss the past, present, and future of WikiLeaks.
Oh, okay.
Which might be interesting.
I think it has a bright future. They have been one of the most important news-making organizations of, I would say, our lifetimes. I mean, WikiLeaks has been a game changer in a lot of ways, and they've already had a major effect on this election thus far, just with the revelations about Hillary's emails. Tens of thousands of emails that they've leaked out.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly good reason for the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton specifically not to like Julian Assange and wonder, well, what are we going to do about this guy? So I mean, he's clearly worried about something. Story says, in July, a leak of over 19,000 emails from the DNC showed that the party had actively worked against Bernie Sanders' campaign for nomination, plotting tactics to give Clinton a favorable chance from the start.
Which they're not supposed to do, by the way. I mean, the political party is supposed to allow all of their participants, the people who are seeking that office, a fair shot at it. But if it turns out that they're actually, behind the scenes working in the favor of one of the candidates, that is a huge hit to their credibility, or it should be at least.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's literally rigging the election. That's what they're doing.
I mean, it should be a private thing to where the party should be able to choose on their own volition, however it is they want to, but they have a kind of responsibility to their members to try to play fair. Or to play fair, and that's not what they did.
No, I don't think Hillary is a play fair type of person.
Nope, certainly not. And I doubt that Assange actually likes Trump, but so far he hasn't done anything to that I know of. WikiLeaks has not released anything damaging to Trump.
Well, he would probably be less likely to have documents in something that Assange would get a hold of. I mean, he got a lot of government documents. Trump was
true
in the private sector, so there wouldn't necessarily be files on him there.
Yeah, but somebody's got some files somewhere. I mean, Trump is certainly someone who's got some skeletons in his closet.
There's obviously been this talk about releasing his tax returns.
Mm-hmm. I heard somebody did release his tax returns. I heard the New York Times printed them.
I have no idea.
That's big news apparently this week.
I have no idea. I honestly, and I'm not a Trump fan, but I don't really think there's going to be anything that interesting in the tax returns.
Basically, I mean, the supposed revelation is, Trump didn't pay taxes, as though that makes him a bad guy. Look, he's bad for a lot of reasons, but actually that's something I respect.
Well, and I mean, looking at Trump's 1040 is not going to tell you whether or not he pays taxes. He owns several businesses. He pays taxes. He may or may not pay personal income taxes.
Well, I think that's what they were talking about.
Right, but they're making it sound like, when they're doing these reports, they're making it sound like he's not paying into the federal government at all, and that is far from the truth.
Yeah, well, he's said multiple times, the way I do my business is I take advantage of the laws that the government has set up. If you don't like the way I'm practicing business, then maybe you should try and change the laws.
Right, and you're right, that's what they're doing. The idea is, Trump, he's a bad person because he avoided paying personal taxes. You're right that he's paying taxes into the system throughout the entire perspective of everything that he does. But there's this sort of idea that somebody who's running for president has to be obedient and follow all of the laws to a T. And
well, he is being obedient and he is following all the laws. The laws are just really weird.
And they give benefits to people who know how to work the system.
Right. Well, and imagine, too, I would think that they want to send the message of, I'm a president, I pay my taxes, I don't know, whoever they is.
Okay.
I would think that the establishment would want to have somebody as president who pays their taxes.
Does that mean Trump is truly a non-establishment candidate to your mind?
Compared to the competition?
Because I think it's more likely that Trump is a plant than anything else.
Well, what you're saying is he's breaking the narrative. What you're saying is Trump, by not having paid personal income tax or whatever, is different than what the establishment narrative wants it to be, in which case that would suggest that one could get to the Republican nomination without being establishment. And that seems an unbelievable thing, right? Like either the Bilderbergers or whoever the hell they are in control, or they're not. What's the story?
I don't know. It could just be because he's that incredibly rich and famous. I don't know. I would just think that, they're not going to want to have a president who kind of sends the message out to people like, well, he didn't pay taxes, so maybe I don't have to as well. They want to have the belief out there that, if you don't pay your income tax, you're in big trouble.
Well, I mean, and first of all, he's being audited, so that doesn't necessarily destroy that narrative. And so, which is a good reason to not release your tax returns if you're being audited currently. Mm-hmm. But, Trump probably paid more taxes last year than I'll make in my life.
Probably.
So it's not even Trump that's doing it. Trump is paying a ton of taxes. Ridiculous, obscene amounts of money in taxes. It's certain news medias that are making it sound like he's not paying any money and, using all the state resources.
And to his credit,
in the first place, but
to Trump's credit, and there's not a lot of credit I can give the guy, but in this case, he's right on. I mean, he is not I mean, obviously, in the role that he's in, he can't say he's against taxes because that would rile the Republicans up and make them angry. But
I don't know if that's true anyway. I don't know if he's not just opportunistic enough to even have a position one way or the other.
His
so I don't know that
position
he's
seems
against
to be
taxes.
His position seems to be, hey, if you cannot pay it, then don't pay it, right? Like, don't. He's not as much of a, at least openly, a tax lover as Hillary Clinton.
Well, right, yeah, I don't think he's pro-tax, but I don't necessarily think he's anti-tax either. I think
agree
he's just
with you.
amoral and opportunistic.
Yeah.
I think he will do whatever has his best interest at heart.
Hold that thought. Let's get back to more WikiLeaks in a moment. We got Ricky on the line. Actually, no, we don't. We'll bring Ricky on here in moments. So toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Ricky, are you there with us?
I'm here, brother
okay,
Ian.
We have you now. Go ahead.
Well, I was sitting here listening to this. A couple points now.
Yeah, are you scared about Hillary Clinton and what's going to happen tomorrow with WikiLeaks? She's your candidate.
Well, I didn't hear about what's going to happen.
We don't know yet.
It's
something big.
The October surprise.
Trump campaign, I'm not scared.
Huh?
I'm not scared of nothing, Ian. You know, I'm really not.
All right. What were you calling about? Go ahead.
Did you know that WikiLeaks offered a $20,000 reward for information about a murdered DNC staffer, Seth Rich, shot and killed in July?
Whoa.
I guess I'm going to wait until after break, I guess.
You know, there
Ricky,
isn't a string of dead people around Donald Trump's campaign. That's all I'm saying.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Hour number 2 is on the way. We got plenty of time for you. You can join us here and take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever's on your mind. 855-450-FREE. Or Skype in, like Ricky did, at Skype username LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com. You've said it yourself. We need a healthcare system that focuses on health, not sickness. Health insurance pays for treating sickness but gives you nothing for being healthy. There's a free market healthcare company that gives you freedom from health insurance. They give you a proactive health assessment daily, no charge 24-hour access to doctors. Check them out right now at healthexcellenceselect.com. Any kind of doctor, traditional, integrative, chiropractic, acupuncture, and massage. You'll love the service and price. healthexcellenceselect.com. healthexcellenceselect.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, October 3rd, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.13 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,317 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $614. Antiwar.com reports while most of the Afghan government's friendly fire incidents involve Taliban infiltrators, an incident over the weekend appears to have been the result of a bungled airstrike by the Afghan Air Force, which killed 5 members of the Afghan Special Forces. The incident in the western Farah province saw a rocket strike, which the Defense Ministry says was fired in the wrong direction, hitting the troops, killing at least 5 and wounding 3 others. 19 militants were also killed in other airstrikes over the course of the fighting. The Pentagon was quick to distance itself from that incident, insisting that they had launched no airstrikes of their own in the Farah province in over a week and therefore could not possibly be responsible for the incident. Afghan Defense Ministry officials are quite clear that the whole incident was internal to their military at any rate. The Defense Ministry was less clear on the exact circumstances of the strikes, as the Afghan Air Force has extremely limited firepower and it is comparatively rare for them to engage in unilateral airstrikes. Afghanistan really only has 10 planes capable of firing rockets, though they also have some attack helicopters which might have been involved. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court begins a new term on Monday, shorthanded and with its future hinging on the outcome of the November 8th presidential election. There will only be 8 justices, not 9, for the first time in decades, starting a new session. The docket is also absent big-ticket cases involving immigration reform, affirmative action, abortion, same-sex marriage, and Obamacare, according to the Washington Post. Those are the topics that in recent years have put the Supreme Court in the spotlight. This time, the docket will be more humble, but with a tinge of contemporary topics, including free speech, the role of race in criminal justice, and the treatment of transgender students. Work begins with the High Court having no way to know how ideology will line up, according to the Constitution Daily. The future will be determined by whether President Barack Obama will be allowed to name a successor or whether the task falls to a future president. The uncertainty could last through February or later, depending on how the White House and Senate work together and make up their minds on a successor. The vacancy occurred with the unexpected death of Justice Antonin Scalia, who died nearly 8 months ago. There are also 3 current justices who are now older than the other members who recently retired from the bench, which suggests there could be more departures to fill. Are you an advocate for free market money? Then you need Spend-A-Bit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spend-A-Bit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports the engineer of the New Jersey commuter train that crashed on Thursday told investigators he was fully rested but has no memory of the incident, and a recovered data recorder was not working, according to the National Transportation Safety Board on Sunday. The derailed train at a Hoboken station killed a 34-year-old woman on the platform and injured 108 people during the morning rush hour. The terminal has some 60,000 people pass on a typical weekday. NTSB Vice Chairman Bella Denzar told a news conference that the agency was still in the fact-gathering phase of the investigation. New Jersey Transit said on Sunday that all rail service into and out of the Hoboken terminal remained suspended. Denzar said Thomas Gallagher, a 29-year New Jersey Transit veteran who was injured when the train derailed, told investigators the train was running at 10 miles per hour when it approached the station. Investigators at the time of the incident could not ascertain the speed of the train when it was near the station. When interviewed by investigators, Gallagher said he conducted various procedures, including checking the train's speedometer and putting his cell phone away during the trip. He also said he had no memory of the incident. The train's conductor, meanwhile, told investigators he did not recall anything unusual before the crash. Recovery of evidence has been slowed due to damage to the station's columns, leaving the facility unstable. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, mothers across the nation invented a new drug to worry about, confirming that the completely fictitious new substance was appearing in schoolyards across the nation and is easily created from simple household products like sugar, window cleaner, and petroleum jelly. Calling the totally made-up narcotic scramp, mothers in desperate need of something to fret over deluded themselves into constantly agonizing over the widespread drug epidemic that exists solely in their minds.
My son sits in his room for hours and hours. It must be scramp. He's a scramp head. I bet they'll figure out how to scramp with this, too.
In other news, a man confidently strides through a beaded curtain without parting it. A father takes a picture of his daughter every day from birth until he abandons his family. And the same homeless man is always begging for change on the same United flight. Stalled contract negotiations have prevented me from reviewing any more news until I receive a co-producer credit. But for more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free, bring up anything that you want, take control of the airwaves, and that's the point of Free Talk Live. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you in studio tonight, I'm Ian.
Melanie.
And Cody.
We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts. Then, Cody, you probably have a little more to tell us about what might be happening tomorrow. And by tomorrow, we mean actually looks like about 5 hours from now.
Yeah.
Because it's Berlin time, so it's already tomorrow there. Sometime within the next several hours.
If you're up at 3 in the morning, you might be able to catch some interesting breaking news.
That's 3 a.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
And so we'll talk more about what's happening with WikiLeaks here in moments. Hopefully it'll be pretty big news because there's certainly been a lot of build-up to this. The toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us, though, is 855-450-FREE. Let's go back to Ricky in Pennsylvania. Ricky, you say you're not worried about this whole WikiLeaks thing. Hillary Clinton can weather any kind of storm, huh?
Well, because this has been pumped up for weeks. I know exactly what this is all about. It's called a pile of crap. Now, if I may, to the young lady, Miss Melanie, it's a pleasure to meet your acquaintance. If I may have a moment with you, I know you're a Trump supporter and an anarchist.
She's not a Trump supporter.
I'm not. I'm an anarchist.
Oh, you're not a Trump supporter
Just because you're not, hold on, just because you don't support Hillary Clinton doesn't mean you automatically support Trump.
Oh, you don't support Trump. Cody does, though, right?
I don't support him. I would just choose him over Hillary Clinton, which is not really saying a whole hell of a lot.
Okay, here's a couple points. About you, Melanie. You choosing Mr. Trump? Use that word Mr. loosely.
I honestly don't know what I'm going to do in this election yet. I am definitely not supporting Trump, though.
I can help you out. I can help you out on this one. A couple key points.
Given that you support Hillary Clinton, I highly doubt that you can help anyone in this room decide who to vote for.
He sounds confident enough that I want to give him a chance.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear it. Go ahead.
I nailed Ralph right in the abdomen, that coward. He called in again.
All right, what do you got tonight? I don't care about what happened last week. What do you got tonight to help us out with voting?
Couple points. We got a couple
One point.
points.
Just pick one.
1 point?
Yep, that's it. That's all you get.
Okay, Donald Trump has said that he is going to pull every single trade deal that we have going on.
I have
now,
no trade deals.
With other countries?
I don't have any trade deals with other countries. You talking about the U.S. government?
Our government.
Oh, okay. The government. I don't consider them my government. They can go screw off.
Might be his government, not mine.
So, okay, Trump's going to pull some trade deals. Go ahead.
He's going to pull all of them. Now, in a millisecond, I know she's an economist. Isn't our national economy just going to freaking collapse?
Is that a question for Melanie? Melanie is an accountant. I don't know if that's the same thing.
I'm an accountant. I am not an economist.
She certainly knows more about money probably than Cody or I put together.
And he's going to use aggression to make this work. Now, that's ridiculous.
Right, but nobody running is an anarchist. So the fact that he's going to use aggression is not a distinguishing feature.
Well, if it were
I
true,
don't like him, but that's not a distinguishing feature.
Well, wait a minute. Look, Ricky, if what you were saying is true, and I highly doubt it is, Donald Trump
Donald
Trump isn't going to go in there and tear up the trade deals. In fact, I doubt he even has the authorization to do that by himself. It's likely something that Congress would have to do. But even if he could go into, if he gets elected and then walks in there and tears up TPP and whatever the hell the other trade, NAFTA, wasn't that one of them? Tears up these different trade agreements, then that's not aggression. That would actually be a good thing. Like, if the U.S. government were to exit all of these trade deals and actually just have freedom to trade, that is by definition not aggression. That's not what he's going to do, by the way.
One more point.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Now, recently, I made a comment in this duel to a comment that Donald Trump made, and he made a comment. He listed Afghanistan, he listed Syria and others, and I might add the Commonwealth of the Philippines. Now, he called these people terrorists and animals, kind of like some other jackass I know. Animals. Now, here's my question. Now, as a man that's been involved in civil rights ever since he was a kid, the last I look, everybody, including the damn murderer, has rights, and nobody is ever an animal.
Okay.
As far as
I agree with you on that. People do have rights, and they shouldn't be called animals. I agree completely with that part. Thanks, Ricky, for the call. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, although technically we are animals. But yeah, I can see why people would look negatively on using that term.
And Hillary Clinton called young black men super predators, so I don't see how, like, 6 1 half dozen the other. Like, Trump is a bad guy. I agree with that, but that doesn't help me distinguish between the two options that are on the table.
Nor are you trying to. I mean, you're not going to vote for one or the other.
Necessarily. Like, I don't see myself voting for either of those two people.
At this point, I'm voting for Daryl W. Perry. I'm going to do a write-in vote for Daryl W. Perry just because he's pissing off the right people. Just over the weekend, there was news. We talked about it on Saturday night. Daryl, who's one of our co-hosts, he actually is normally here on Mondays, so you're actually filling in for him tonight, Cody. He's actually out at an Adam Kokesh campaign event in, I think, Manchester tonight.
Yeah, I believe it's in Manch.
And so Daryl has announced that he's reactivating his campaign for president. He had run as a Libertarian for the presidential nomination. Within that party, he lost ultimately to a couple of former Republicans, Gary Johnson and Bill Weld. And now Daryl, based on the request of many of his fans who had contacted him saying, Daryl, we're not going to vote for Johnson, this guy who claims to be a Libertarian, but he's not. We're not going to vote for him anyway. So would you please just run again so we can actually have somebody that we can vote for and not feel bad about voting for somebody? Like, we can actually have a principled Libertarian that he's not going to be on the ballot, but you can write him in several states that allow write-in votes. And so he decided he would go ahead and do that because Gary Johnson and Bill Weld have been so bad and so off message from the libertarian principles and the ideals that we hold dear. So I think Daryl's done the right thing, but he has set off a firestorm of controversy, even with one former co-host here on Free Talk Live, Rich Paul, attacking him openly on a Facebook post today. So there are a lot of people who are like these party adherents. Even within the Libertarian Party, you'd think people in the Libertarian Party would be above this. Nope, not at all. They are total, like, whatever the party says goes. If the party's behind these two unprincipled hack candidates, then they're going to support them all the way to the election. And anybody that, as though Daryl's a threat to that, but they seem to see him as a threat to that, even though he's just writing a write-in campaign.
Well, it seems like the Libertarian Party people, what they're worried about is this whole splitting the vote type of thing.
But we're going to split our 7%. Like, we're going to do that.
There's not going to be 7%. That is.
Isn't there an irony
that was
to
like
that,
one of the
though?
highest poll numbers. Like,
just because they're polling doesn't mean they're going to actually get those votes.
I'm saying, but that's like the max, or not the max, but that's, representative
it's likely he won't get
of
higher
what
than
they're, on the high end of what they're going to get.
I would be willing to bet he will not get more than 2%.
If these people really think that Gary Johnson is going to win, they need to snap out of Dream World because that's ridiculous.
Well, no, I don't think
isn't it the Libertarian Party people? They get accused of splitting the vote by the Republicans and Democrats. Like, hey, you got to pick between Trump or Hillary. Or, because, if you vote for Johnson, you're actually voting for Hillary or Trump or whoever
Which is
they
nonsense.
say they're
If you
voting
vote for Johnson, you're voting for Johnson. You're not voting for one of the other candidates.
So for the Libertarian Party people to turn that around and accuse Daryl's supporters of basically splitting the vote. That's a little off-putting to me.
There are people who would not have voted for Johnson anyway. There were people who were like me. I was considering voting for Harambe. I'd vote for anybody besides the tools that are actually on the ballot.
I mean, I was kind of thinking about voting for none of the above. Because, like, if I'm going to do a protest vote, like, voting for Johnson and in New Hampshire, where we have write-in votes, you can do this. Like, voting for Johnson, like, if I wanted to vote GOP, I'd vote GOP.
I think you actually have to, though, file, and this is what Daryl has done in some states, is he's filed intent paperwork with the secretaries of state to say, I am officially a write-in candidate. Because if you just write in none of the above, and none of the above isn't an official write-in candidate, it likely won't be counted in those states. So the one person who reads your ballot may see that, but that's about as far as it's going to go. Not that there's going to be a whole lot of reporting on Daryl's campaign either.
It's not going to win anyway. And, like, if none of the above wins, we're still going to have a president. It doesn't matter.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5928. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5928. That's 1-800-959-5928. 1-800-959-5928.
You are what you eat? No, not true. You are what you can absorb, because not absorbing nutrition leads to nutritional deficiency and degenerative diseases. Medication does not fix nutritional deficiencies, and North American soil is now 85% nutritionally depleted. That means your body is not getting the vitamins it needs from just grown foods. Introducing Protovite, the world's first and only full-spectrum protosomal supplement. Protovite is a proprietary liquid system that allows premium quality nutrients to positively affect the blood in an astonishing 5 minutes. That's rapid absorption. Then Protovite liquid continues to release sustained nutrition in the stomach, intestines, and colon over a prolonged period of time. See Protovite in action. Watch our amazing 2-minute live blood cell video today at TrueHealthFacts.com. That's TrueHealthFacts.com, or call 502-410-3411, 502-410-3411. Protovite is nutrition you can feel. Protovite is nutrition that gets in.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free to join us on the radio waves. The number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it's the latest from WikiLeaks, which should be coming out within a matter of hours, or whatever happens to be on your mind, you can take control of these airwaves. I also want to let you know about an amazing deal on hosting a website. Maybe you've been thinking about hosting your own site or a blog, but it's just been too daunting. You don't have enough time. You don't want to deal with it. HostGator is one of the top hosting companies out there. They've got a special deal. So not only are you going to get a great deal, but also you get a simple one-click easy installation for WordPress with HostGator. They've got 24/7 over-the-phone or live chat tech support and a very intuitive and user-friendly control panel that puts the power of creation and the simplicity of use into your hands, the customer. HostGator's got 99.99% uptime rating, so you do not have to worry about outages, and you get an amazing offer by being a Free Talk Live listener. Here's what you do to get the deal. You go to hostgator.com/FTL, and you'll get 50% off their regular hosting prices. Now, the way they set this up is it's an introductory offer. So you get the 50% off for whatever the phase is that you sign up for. So if you sign up for a month, you get 50% off for a month. If you sign up for 3 years, you get 50% off for 3 years. So there's like a whole range of different time frames in there. Big discount. It's available to you as a Free Talk Live listener. Go to hostgator.com/FTL to get that deal. As we go to the phones, to the fun, let's talk to Hung Like Jesus in Georgia on via Skype. Hey, Hung.
Hello, Ian and the rest.
Hey there.
Hey.
Listen, this Trump thing, I am just so, I am still surprised that people are taking Trump seriously. I mean, he's a few more weeks to the election now, so I guess they're taking him absolutely seriously. But I was listening to a radio program the other day, and he was described the best way I have ever heard him described by this one person, and he described him as a buffoon. He's an absolute buffoon. He's a clown. And he's made,
Which is why he's so entertaining.
And I guess when people take they want this man to be the head of the free world, or so-called free world.
Well, yeah.
And I just can't. America is officially a joke now.
I love it.
Well, I'm kind of wondering, do you think maybe America needs a clown to run for president to show that the entire election cycle is a joke to begin with?
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that he made it this far should be enough evidence that, Trump is a buffoon, but it's bigger than that. It's the entire system that he's basically running right now.
I kind of almost suspect that he's just like using this as free publicity, like
for his next TV show,
or for whatever business he's thinks needs publicity. Like, yeah, well, I can run for president. I'll be on TV, whatever. Like, I almost want to believe that, because otherwise it's just so absurd
that he's just screwing around, just having fun.
Yeah,
he's
he's just he's bored, like whatever.
Right.
Like,
but don't think that me talking about Trump is in any way supporting Hillary Clinton.
Oh, I didn't think that.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't think anyone around here assumes that you're even going to vote to begin with, let alone support one of the
maybe not
candidates.
anybody around here, but on the entirety of the radio and the internet, a lot of people will think that. And no, I too hate Trump and Hillary. Like, you can hate them both.
Yep, and a lot of people do.
Enough hate to go around.
The Clintons are just criminals. Bill Clinton, I think, has dealt more drugs and cocaine out of Arkansas than Pablo Escobar out of Colombia.
Well, I mean, I don't particularly have a problem with that, but I hate him for other reasons.
Well, right. The problem is that he's dealing cocaine while at the same time running a war on drugs. It would be another story
exactly.
if
he's getting paid hand over fist
Right.
while he's doing it because he privatized prison. Well, he didn't privatize.
Yeah, it'd be another
Prison's
story if Bill
privatized.
Clinton were dealing cocaine and at the same time advocating for its legalization.
Well, right, because there's a paper down here, or I don't know if it's an actual physical paper, but it's a news outlet that ran a story. I guess they were bored. There's no crime in New Hampshire, so they had to run something silly. Quote, busting a bunch of legislators for, the heinous crime of smoking weed. And it's like, when you look at it, most of these people are proponents of legalization. So, like, how is this even in any way, like...
news at all?
Yeah, like, nobody cares that they're smoking weed, and they're not even being hypocrites, because they're actively
It's the weakest scandal.
Legalization. So,
it's like the weakest scandal you could possibly
who
have.
cares? Like, you can't even be like, you hypocrite. Like,
Yeah, go ahead, Hung.
One more thing. Now, Trump, if you think that someone can be that deeply embedded in New York real estate and not have mob ties, you are absolutely fooling yourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
If you think Trump is not deep in the pockets or they're not deep in his pockets, then I just give up.
Oh, yeah. That's why I say, I don't believe the story that this guy is somehow anti-establishment or from the outside of the establishment, although that's the narrative that is being portrayed about him. I don't buy that.
Well, he's deeply involved in the system, and the system is how he's gotten the amount of money that he's gotten. So I don't know if anti-establishment is the right word. Just he's not a career politician.
How about establishment clown? The establishment needs its joker, and that's who he is.
Yeah.
He's definitely a joker.
There you go. Thanks, Hung. Great call,
All right.
man. I appreciate hearing from you tonight. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That, again, brings back the conversation that we had briefly, I think, in the first hour, was you were talking about these people, or the people who, like, control the elections, and you were suggesting that Trump is sort of not on script for what those people want.
well, right, but that doesn't mean that he's not part of he can still be part of the plan. Like, that could just be his character.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That he's trying to drive votes to Hillary, that kind of thing.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's like the old theory about
and not even. I think that's a possibility. It's also a possibility that they just, for whatever reason, want to, stir it up this time around for just, to be silly, just because they have some strategy I'm not aware of to make it look more real. Because, like, we would never do this, and then you do that to make it look real. I don't know. And I don't know. I kind of almost want to find out that federal elections aren't real, because then, like, I wouldn't have to worry about making these decisions. And maybe that makes me a horrible person, but
why worry about it? It's just a game. I
don't like spend disordinate amounts of time worrying about it, but I do feel like if first I'm giving this power,
no, you're
I
not. They already have the power. Your vote's not giving them anything.
Well, right, but if elections are real, then I have,
I think to me
you
it's,
have no effect on it.
I think to me it's kind of a personal endorsement of the whole thing. So yeah,
but only within yourself,
right? Well, yeah. There's something to that, though, right? So yeah, it's not going to make a difference to you either way, whether you vote or not.
It's not
if
an
they
endorsement,
control
though.
you.
It's not an endorsement if there's a man with a whip standing above you. And he wants to crack the whip over your back 10 times. But if you were to protest and say, stop hitting me, he might stop at 5. So you vote for 10 by keeping silent, or you vote for 5 by speaking up. Do you speak up? And if you do speak up, is that an endorsement? No, of course not. So there are people who are they're voting because they want to not endorse the system necessarily, but because they realize that it's going to hurt them, and they believe they may have found a master, if you will, who is less violent and insane than the other ones. Now, I'm not sure if there is one on the ballot that is less violent or insane, but, Gary Johnson and Bill Weld and Jill Stein seem to be better choices than Hillary or Trump. But I think that neither of those, somebody who's voting for a third party isn't necessarily endorsing the system, although some of them are. It's Free Talk Live.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Do you know the difference between erudite and pedantic? If you do, you're probably pedantic. But seriously, a surprising number of erudite people mispronounce erudite, which has 3 syllables, not 4. Say erudite, not erudite. Because you are judged by how you speak, you want to avoid common misstatements, especially if you're a job seeker. For instance, do you know the difference between imply and infer? Only a speaker can imply, only a listener can infer. And when you say you'll be out of pocket, do you mean out of touch? Out of pocket means you're on your own dime, not yet reimbursed. And if anyone ever asks, why do you always answer a question with a question? You should reply, do I do that? Just kidding. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Free Talk Live.
Is God against audio CDs or MP3s?
No, all that technology was stolen from the angels in the first place. You wouldn't have anything that wasn't here in 1947.
Why are you selling audio tapes on your website?
There's only one there, which is Angels Over Pendleton, shows
I see several audio
of
tapes.
the angel that we communicated with.
No, you can't put video on it. You can't put video on an audio tape. I'm looking at your website here. There's a page where you've got audio tapes for sale for $6, $6.25 each.
And I bought both Nazareth and REO Speedwagon on audio tape.
On audio tape,
yeah.
But that was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting the word, if you're trying to get the word out about, what you believe is going to happen in the future, maybe you should put it on CD and at least move into the 1990s as opposed to 1985.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Join us on the radio waves here. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Yes, we will attack them all. Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, the third-party candidates. Whatever you want to talk about also goes here. 855-450-FREE. I got more coming up about Hillary Clinton. She has attacked her Bernie Sanders supporters. So a lot of the Bernie Sanders supporters are reluctantly following Hillary Clinton, but now she's in, I guess, some secret recordings or something like that. Something that's been leaked out has been not so nice.
Seems like a bad move if he's not even running at this point.
Yep.
Why would you even touch the issue?
That's a good point.
If it was leaked, then A, it wasn't necessarily a move in the first place.
Well, true.
And B, she might have said it when he was running.
She apparently said it. You're right. It was during that time frame.
Okay, my mistake.
But the news is coming out now about it, so I guess the audio had not been leaked until just recently. And who knows what's going to come out in a matter of hours with WikiLeaks planning some sort of big reveal about Hillary Clinton on within the next few hours, apparently 3 a.m. Eastern Time, in a live video conference from Berlin. And Cody, I think you had a story. I don't know if you'd finished up with what you wanted to share. I felt like you had a little bit more there that you wanted to get out tonight.
Well, I think the most important part of the article I was reading is literally the last couple sentences. So as we talked about earlier, Assange was going to do this meeting in person.
He was going to do it from the balcony of the Ecuador.
Right.
Is it Ecuadorian embassy where he's
yes.
In London, where he's been for like the last 4 or 5 years, which from what I understand is not as glamorous as it sounds, right? Like
living in an embassy doesn't sound particularly glamorous to me. But
no, it doesn't. But like an embassy makes it sound like, oh, this is like a big building with a gate around it and armed guards or something like that. And from what I understand, it's like an apartment.
Not that special. But so get a load of this. Since the cancellation of Assange's balcony appearance, WikiLeaks have tweeted an old quote allegedly from Clinton on the editor stating, quote, "Can't we just drone the guy?"
Referring to Assange.
Yeah.
She actually said that?
Yep. Now, and I was looking through the other article I had on this. Now, I guess...
Because the suggestion, before we go on, the suggestion was the reason why they'd canceled it. So they announced this thing, this big event, and then they canceled it. The ostensible reason was some sort of security concern. Now, they did not get into detail on what that concern was, but they believed they had good information that they needed to cancel the event.
Well, it makes me wonder if they had just recently found out this alleged story about the droning comment.
I don't know. I thought you said that was an old comment, but anyway.
It is, but it may have just been found and released recently. Okay. I'm not entirely sure. But I guess what was happening was it says the Clinton State Department was getting pressure from President Obama. So during a meeting, she got frustrated, and that's when she blurted out the "Can't we just drone the guy?" comment. And apparently, the statement drew laughter from the room, which quickly died off when the secretary kept talking in a terse manner, according to sources.
Yeah, she's not joking.
I mean,
that's what it sounds like.
I don't know. I'm not saying that Hillary's not serious, but that's not. I don't think that's as bad as they're making it out to sound. I mean, people are at a meeting. Even if their goals are evil, which they are, like they're trying to do what they consider to be work. They're stressed, and they say something silly. I mean, I don't know too many people who haven't done that.
I get what you're saying. It could have been just something in the moment, but it shows the hubris. It shows the attitude. Like, this guy's a problem. Can't we get rid of him?
Right. Like,
well, I mean,
I don't even want them talking that way. That's disgusting. So, and apparently the White House press secretary, Robert Gibbs, said in a statement responding to WikiLeaks, quote, "It's not an expression of policy, nor does it always shape the final policy decisions." So, okay, yeah, maybe they're not actually putting plans in order to drone Julian Assange.
Right.
They may or may not be.
They would be more likely to shoot him.
I still find it upsetting that the government would be even considering and bringing up the possibility
Okay, I don't think that was
taking
a
somebody
serious
out.
consideration. I think that that was a stressed comment. And not that Hillary is a good person, because she's absolutely not. But I mean, I think you're reading way too much into that.
You don't think she would do it if she had the chance?
Oh, I absolutely think she would do it. But that comment in that context, I think, is just stressed silliness.
Sure, but it
more
reveals
than anything else.
the person. It reveals the kind of conniving, evil person that Hillary Clinton is.
Right, and she's in a position of a lot of responsibility that she has chosen to take up. It's just like, people will make the argument that, well, police officers have to deal with a lot of horrible people every day, so they got stressed out.
Because shooting
give them
someone
a break.
and throwing a grenade on the baby is not the same thing as making a silly comment. Like, those are two very different things.
I don't think it's excusable just because you were under pressure. I mean, if you say
I'm not saying
then
it was an awesome thing to do. I'm saying, like, it's not as serious as what you're... I mean, I've said silly stuff like that. been trying to fill out, some IRS form that they've sent back for the third time for absolutely no reason. And I'm like, well, I could just overthrow the government instead. And, I don't really mean it, but, I'm just aggravated, and it's a silly thing to say.
But if you say that, you'll get arrested and charged with terroristic threatening or something like that.
I've said it plenty of times in public and on Facebook, so I haven't got arrested yet.
Well,
so.
you're just – it's only a matter of time before somebody reports one of those posts and the cops come knocking on your door and put you in handcuffs. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand –
on the radio, so.
If Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, says she wants to drone bomb somebody, there's a good chance some man in fatigues is going to show up and take her seriously about that.
Yep. A little bit more from the story that I find kind of interesting. Following Clinton's alleged drone proposal, another controversial remedy was floated in the State Department to place a reward or bounty for Assange's capture and extradition to the U.S. Numbers were discussed in the realm of a $10 million bounty.
Jeez.
And apparently there was a memo that was leaked about possible legal and non-legal strategies. And what is a non-legal strategy? I guess just killing a guy. I don't know.
Dronings are usually non-legal strategies.
I mean, it's amazing that they can take, the word murder, and it's not so bad when you call it a non-legal strategy. as long as you can turn it into a political phrase.
That sounds kind of more heinous to me, because when I think of murder, I think of somebody who killed somebody either because, and look, they're still evil, right? But either because they were desperate, or they were, they walked in on their wife cheating on them and they got angry, or some kind of emotional reaction. Whereas if you say, a legal strategy, that sounds sanitized. That sounds like conspiracy-ish. That sounds like planned and evil for the sake of evil. That actually sounds worse to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
Share your thoughts with us. Toll-free number.
It sounds like typical 1984 type of stuff.
855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Was that the final bit?
That's pretty much all I wanted out of the article.
Because this is big. I feel like this is going to be a big one. I hope that this is going to be a big one. The emails were a good release over the summer. But if they've got a real bomb to drop, then this would be a good time to do it. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be 3 a.m. Eastern time, apparently. Live from Berlin is when Assange is going to reveal whatever it is that he's planning on revealing. Our toll-free number again is 855-450-FREE. In other news, hacked audio of a conversation between Hillary Clinton, this from Politico.com, and donors during a February fundraising event shows the Democrat nominee describing Bernie Sanders supporters as, quote, children of the Great Recession who are living in their parents' basement, unquote.
Wow.
Speaking at a Virginia fundraiser hosted by a U.S. ambassador, Clinton says in a clip released by the Free Beacon that many of her former primary opponent's supporters sought things like free college, free health care, saying she preferred to occupy the space from the center-left to the center-right on the political spectrum. So she considers herself not as far left as Bernie Sanders. During the conversation, also reported in The Intercept, Clinton confesses to feeling bewildered by those to her far left and far right in the election. She said, quote, there is a strain of, on the one hand, the kind of populist, nationalist, xenophobic, discriminatory kind of approach that we hear too much of from the Republican candidates. On the other side, there's just a deep desire to believe that we can have free college, free health care, and that what we've done hasn't gone far enough, and that we just need to, go as far as, Scandinavia, whatever that means. And half the people don't know what that means, but it's something that they deeply feel. Talking about Bernie Sanders supporters. We'll continue with some of her comments. Your calls and thoughts also welcome at 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and negative articles can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? ReputationDefender.com can help protect your good name. Get a free consultation now. Call 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from ReputationDefender.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com today.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
This is your Roberts & Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Monday, gold is $2 higher at $1,314 per ounce, and silver is down 11 cents at $19.12 per ounce. Bitcoin is currently trading at $609 US. The recent pullback in silver has created a great opportunity to buy on a dip. To get started today, give Roberts & Roberts Brokerage a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. If you have Bitcoin, I want you to download the official wallet of Free Talk Live. It's called Jax, and you can get it for free over at jaxx.io or your favorite app store. There's no wallet like it. It holds multiple cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ether, and Dash. Plus, there are more currencies coming soon to Jax, as well as some other cool features. There's shapeshift integration already, which means you can easily change between one currency and another. So if you have Bitcoin and you want to turn that into Ether or Dash or vice versa, you can easily do that with Jax. So go and get your copy at jax.io. In fact, it's cross-platform. So if you get it for your phone, you can also have it on your desktop computer or your laptop, Windows, Mac, Linux, and then, of course, your phone operating systems like iOS and Android. Go to jax.io, jaxx.io. It's also super easy to back up your wallet and recover funds, and it was created by Anthony D'Orio. He's a Free Talk Live listener and also the founder, one of the founders of Ethereum. Jax is striving to give you command over your digital life, coins, contracts, currencies, identity, and more. Your digital command center in the palm of your hand. It's Jax, the official wallet of Free Talk Live at jax.io. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. Billy is listening in Tallahassee. Billy, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Billy.
Hello, sir.
You're on the radio, Billy.
Okay. Donald Trump. What do you think about Donald Trump? Do you think our world is going to end if he becomes president?
Do I think the world is going to end? No, likely the world will not end if Donald Trump becomes president, unless there's some sort of nuclear holocaust, which Donald Trump would not want to have happen, because then he would lose all of his investments and would likely become, a lot poorer than he currently is today. So there's always that kind of incentive, or rather disincentive, for people who are in politics to not press a nuclear launch button, because they will ultimately lose a lot of their power and their influence and their money. Thanks, Billy, for your call tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We've actually been getting a lot of good questions and issues over the last few days from some very young-sounding callers.
I've noticed that, yeah.
And it's not what I expect, because a lot of times when the young callers will get a hold of Free Talk Live, they'll call and, say dumb stuff, make fart noises or say the F word or something like that. And it's like, I don't like it when I have to dump somebody off the air. And a fart noise won't get you dumped, but the F word and the S word certainly will. So thank you to Billy for not saying those words and just kind of asking a good question. I think some people really do believe that Trump being elected would be, the biggest disaster that could ever happen. And I can't imagine that Trump being elected will be worse than any of the other scumbags.
I think in a weird way, everybody wants to believe that they're living in the craziest time in all of history. So
this is the most important election of all time.
I mean, how many times have we heard that?
Every time, every 4 years.
Every 4 years. It's the most important election. Things are getting crazier than ever, and somehow we make it through.
And at the end of the day, the same people are going to be in charge, because the people who own the Federal Reserve and the other central banks are the same people that are in charge right now, and those are going to be the people who are in charge whether Trump or Hillary wins. I don't want to say it doesn't matter at all, because I think that they don't necessarily micromanage it to that extent, but
there's very little that'll change.
Yeah, there's some things that might matter, but on a large scale, it's the same people in charge. The Federal Reserve is the real government.
That's why
it doesn't necessarily matter too much.
Right. That's why I said the other day to somebody in one of the Libertarian groups on Facebook, I think there was somebody in there who was just sort of attacking people who were voting, I think it was about secession. So there was a person in there, was a Johnson supporter, who was like, but if we elect a libertarian, then you don't need to secede. And I said, well, actually, even if a real libertarian were elected, Johnson,
he'd get shot like JFK did.
Even if that didn't happen, even if the tide turned in the United States, and all of a sudden people were like, yes, we want liberty, and they voted for if Darrell W. Perry was actually, the presidential candidate for the Libertarians, and he actually got enough votes and actually won and, acceded to the presidency, I'd still support secession, because just one libertarian getting in at the national level isn't going to do anything to change things significantly. Even if he does do a few things that are good, let's say a good libertarian president would bring the troops home from around the world, end the war on drugs or whatever. There are things that a president could do that would be better, but you would still have this massive multi-trillion-dollar federal government that hurts people all around the globe, or at least around the United States. And even with the libertarian in charge, I still wouldn't want to have New Hampshire involved in the union.
Right.
Well, and saying that the president is in charge is kind of a misnomer anyway. He gets to veto things and do use of force authorizations, or act under use of force authorizations, which is probably unconstitutional, even though it's a statute anyway. But
he is in charge of the executive branch, though, right?
Right. Yeah. But there's not much that the executive branch really can do within the bounds of what they're supposed to do.
So say Darrell becomes president, right? In this
alternate reality.
This alternate reality, could he actually just abolish the federal government?
No.
Could he abolish the executive branch, the whole thing? Could he just, we're just going to scrap it?
Well, and once, if there's enough of people, assuming federal elections are real, if there's enough of people to actually elect a actual libertarian anarchist to the United States presidency, at that point it kind of wouldn't matter, because then we'd have enough of people to kind of more or less ignore cops, assuming we don't decide to all be pacifists.
Yeah, I agree with you that having numbers is the most important thing, and that would be a big deal. But another factor is that if a libertarian gets elected, then all of the bad crap that has come beforehand, some of that's still coming down. Right? Like, so, there's still a bunch of government stuff going on, and that Libertarian's going to get in there, and all the money manipulation by the Fed and the militarization of the police, and, all that stuff is still out there. It's sort of floating out there, and some of it's going to come down on people during the Libertarian presidency,
and
of course they'll get the blame for it. It's like it happens all the time, right? Oh, it's Obama recession. Well, no, Bush set up the recession, right? So, like, even though you can point out how things happened, that current person always gets the blame for it.
My favorite one of those is when everybody's like, this president has increased the debt more than any other president. Well, like, that's true of every president, because if the president went in and spent no money and actually paid down the principal, they would still, well, which you can't do, but they would still incur more debt than any other president, because that's how compound interest and fractional reserve banking works.
It's
and
true.
There's nothing the president can do about that. They could do nothing and spend no money and sell assets, and they would still incur more debt than any previous president, because that's how the numbers work.
Right.
So, like, it's a ridiculous complaint.
The U.S. dollar system is a debt-based currency. Every dollar that is brought into an existence is owed back to the Federal Reserve with interest.
It's impossible to pay off.
Yeah, it's not physically possible to.
Having a raising debt is built into the pyramid scheme that is the financial system.
Yep.
So, a lot of people have that, that back and forth about raising the debt ceiling or whatever, and complaining about, bringing the debt down. Well, no, the debt's never going to come down because it's built into the system. The only way to get out of that is to scrap the U.S. dollar and choose something else.
Right, and the only way to get out of the U.S. government is to scrap it and do something else. And that's why I think it's one of the biggest concerns. I mean, it's not a big concern because the Libertarians aren't going to win. But if a Libertarian did actually win, one of the big concerns would be that they'd have to inherit the federal government. And then when things go wrong, they'll get the blame for it, even though they don't deserve the blame for it. They're just the new guys in this position. Nonetheless, people will look at Libertarians and say, well, you're no different from, these other people. Now, obviously, people who are paying close attention wouldn't say that, but there's so many people who don't pay any attention whatsoever, or very, very little attention to what's going on. And so then it'll be, those darn Libertarians, they're just as bad as Obama. There's no winning.
Really, I really, when I think about it, I think a libertarian president would be the worst thing to happen for libertarianism, because you're going to have the inheriting of all the problems, and then you're going to have the media, which is going to just lambaste you as a president like they do any president.
Sure.
But it's going to be a whole new fun game because it's the first libertarian one. They're used to going after Democrats and Republicans.
That's a good point.
But, now we've got a brand new enemy. They would have a field day, and it would ruin libertarianism if we had a president from that party.
And I have, no problem. People who know anything about me at all, which I've only been on here for a little while, but I have absolutely no problem taking a PR hit, but you should not, there's no trade-off there. It's not like, okay, well, I'll take a PR hit in exchange for a better policy. I'll take a PR hit in exchange for a wider audience. There's no trade-off there. You should only really do that if you're getting something out of the deal, if you're getting honesty, if you're getting a more philosophically consistent position, if you're getting
Which you're not going to get out of the current
you're
candidates.
You're not getting anything out of being president, so there's no reason to take that PR hit.
The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, and it's a big enough PR hit to just have Gary Johnson and Bill Weld as the nominees. If they were to actually win, then they wouldn't even come close to bringing libertarianism into the office, and it'd be even worse. Hour 3 coming up.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Well, tipping might be a great way. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card-sized Bitcoin tip that is easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets, spending, and returns to the user if unused? Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending, and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, October 3rd, 2016. Silver is trading at $19.13 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,317 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $614. Antiwar.com reports while most of the Afghan government's friendly fire incidents involve Taliban infiltrators, an incident over the weekend appears to have been the result of a bungled airstrike by the Afghan Air Force, which killed 5 members of the Afghan Special Forces. The incident in the western Farah province saw a rocket strike, which the Defense Ministry says was fired in the wrong direction, hitting the troops, killing at least 5 and wounding 3 others. 19 militants were also killed in other airstrikes over the course of the fighting. The Pentagon was quick to distance itself from that incident, insisting that they had launched no airstrikes of their own in the Farah province in over a week and therefore could not possibly be responsible for the incident. Afghan Defense Ministry officials are quite clear that the whole incident was internal to their military at any rate. The Defense Ministry was less clear on the exact circumstances of the strikes, as the Afghan Air Force has extremely limited firepower and it is comparatively rare for them to engage in unilateral airstrikes. Afghanistan really only has 10 planes capable of firing rockets, though they also have some attack helicopters which might have been involved. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the U.S. Supreme Court begins a new term on Monday, shorthanded and with its future hinging on the outcome of the November 8th presidential election. There will only be 8 justices, not 9, for the first time in decades, starting a new session. The docket is also absent big-ticket cases involving immigration reform, affirmative action, abortion, same-sex marriage, and Obamacare, according to the Washington Post. Those are the topics that in recent years have put the Supreme Court in the spotlight. This time, the docket will be more humble, but with a tinge of contemporary topics, including free speech, the role of race in criminal justice, and the treatment of transgender students. Work begins with the High Court having no way to know how ideology will line up, according to the Constitution Daily. The future will be determined by whether President Barack Obama will be allowed to name a successor or whether the task falls to a future president. The uncertainty could last through February or later, depending on how the White House and Senate work together and make up their minds on a successor. The vacancy occurred with the unexpected death of Justice Antonin Scalia, who died nearly 8 months ago. There are also 3 current justices who are now older than the other members who recently retired from the bench, which suggests there could be more departures to fill. Are you an advocate for free market money? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports the engineer of the New Jersey commuter train that crashed on Thursday told investigators he was fully rested but has no memory of the incident, and a recovered data recorder was not working, according to the National Transportation Safety Board on Sunday. The derailed train at a Hoboken station killed a 34-year-old woman on the platform and injured 108 people during the morning rush hour. The terminal has some 60,000 people pass on a typical weekday. NTSB Vice Chairman Bella Denzar told a news conference that the agency was still in the fact-gathering phase of the investigation. New Jersey Transit said on Sunday that all rail service into and out of the Hoboken terminal remains suspended. Denzar said Thomas Gallagher, a 29-year New Jersey Transit veteran who was injured when the train derailed, told investigators the train was running at 10 miles per hour when it approached the station. Investigators at the time of the incident could not ascertain the speed of the train when it was near the station. When interviewed by investigators, Gallagher said he conducted various procedures, including checking the train's speedometer and putting his cell phone away during the trip. He also said he had no memory of the incident. The train's conductor, meanwhile, told investigators he did not recall anything unusual before the crash. Recovery of evidence has been slowed due to damage to the station's columns, leaving the facility unstable. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Jack Daniels announced today its plan to start marketing directly to children, adding, quote, "Why not?" Executives for the whiskey company told reporters that they've already slated dozens of television spots showing 10-year-old children drinking tumblers of Jack and Coke in playgrounds, and that the company was planning on, quote, "just seeing how it all played out."
Every year, Jack Daniels sells millions of dollars of great American whiskey to men and women all over the world. So, for our next ad campaign, we basically just thought, hey, why not just start marketing this stuff straight to 10-year-olds? I mean, if they catch us, but we'll see how far it goes, and hopefully we can sell some alcohol along the way. Sure, some parents groups could get upset, especially if we go with our idea of moms serving their kids cranberry Jack at snack time. But
in other news, a doomed rabbit will teach an 8-year-old a lesson about responsibility, and a torrent of soap issues from a wildly unexpected part of the dispenser. Well, that was it. It's all downhill from here, bud. For more, visit theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live.
And you can join us toll free. You can bring up anything you want as we launch into the third hour of the show. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, Ian here.
Melanie.
And Cody.
Coming up, we've got all kinds of cool stuff to discuss here with you, including there's actually been a video come out of a crowd attacking a police car with an officer inside of it out of California. I was just watching that a few moments ago.
Whoa.
We'll tell you more about that. But also, we're going to go to your calls and your thoughts. We got Sarah on the line in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead. Hello, Sarah. Sarah in New Mexico.
Am I on?
You're on.
Yes, you are.
Oh, yes, sir.
We hear you now.
But at least with Hillary Clinton in office, we will have less air pollution, green energy. Democrats.
What makes you think that one person could accomplish those things?
Well, but the thing is, it's the same idea. Al Gore, Obama, they've always been anti-petroleum and into renewable energy. And I'm always trying to, build Amtrak, the bullet train in California, the ART here, rapid transit, and the rail runner here in New Mexico. So, I mean,
wait a minute. If Barack Obama is anti-petroleum, then why didn't he hold BP responsible for spilling oil everywhere back in 2010?
Well, he was trying to hold them accountable.
He was trying to,
huh?
Well, apparently that didn't work because he didn't hold them accountable. They only had to spend like $75 million on cleanup, and the government actually limited the amount that BP was liable for. So your buddy Barack Obama, his government actually helped BP, helped protect them.
Well, you know what? I really don't believe that.
Okay.
I believe that
you think I'm lying to you?
He can.
Do you ever worry if Hillary Clinton just says what she needs to convince people to vote for her, and environmental issues probably doesn't strike her heart because she doesn't really have much of one?
Well, the thing about it is I think we'll suffer worse because Donald Trump is backed up by the petroleum oil companies. I mean, he'll fund the airplanes, which consume petroleum. He'll promote all the freeways and the auto industry.
Yeah, but you don't think they're going to pay her off too once she gets in office?
Federal Reserve notes are backed by the petroleum industry. I mean,
I'm sorry
we're
to
not getting rid of oil.
Yeah, I'm sorry to break the news to you here, Sarah. I mean, I know you don't use the internet, so it can be hard to like verify things that you hear on the radio and in conversations with people. But just a simple Google search reveals that Hillary Clinton. This is a story that was published in Fortune magazine as of September 7th, so fairly recent story. According to Fortune, Hillary Clinton has significantly outraised Donald Trump in the oil and gas industry, an important venue for campaign financing that has historically served as a boon for Republicans, according to a Wall Street Journal analysis. As of the latest fundraising cycle at the end of July, employees in the oil and gas sector had donated $525,000 to Clinton's campaign, compared with $149,000 to Trump's team, according to the newspaper. That's outside of the $470,000 that members of the industry gave to a fundraising account that Trump holds with the National Committee of Republicans. But even that pales in comparisons to Clinton's DNC account, which took in $650,000. So taken together, oil and gas donors have contributed roughly twice as much to support Clinton's campaign as Trump's, according to the Journal. What do you say to that, Sarah?
Journal? We call that journal paper. That's all Republican propaganda.
All right. Well, there's an easy fix for this. There's an easy fix for this. Because apparently you're going to believe anything a politician tells you.
Yeah.
What we need is to have all of the politicians and the companies they've been sponsored by plastered all over their suits like NASCAR drivers, so we know who exactly is funding them.
Hey, Sarah, thanks for the call tonight. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. I mean, you give somebody information, and they just dismiss it out of hand. Oh, well, it's coming from a fish wrapper, so therefore the Wall Street Journal has no credibility whatsoever. Well, I mean, they're acknowledging here that Republicans have historically been given more by the oil industry, but Clinton and Trump this year is different. Now Clinton has been given more by the oil industry, and maybe that's an indicator of this supposed outside of the system or non-establishment status of Trump. You know, maybe they know they've got Clinton in their pocket, but they're not so sure about Trump, so they're giving her more money. But either way, we throw that information in Sarah's face, and she just completely ignores it. It just means nothing, even though you don't get to the level of the Wall Street Journal without citing your sources, and their sources here are publicly available campaign finance documents, which anybody who wanted to take the time to actually research and find for themselves could do.
Right, but apparently the burden of proof is on us to actually do the research, because I'm pretty sure just tonight, like a few people have called in and made claims, and look, make a claim, fine, but where's the evidence? Well, what article are you citing? Mm-hmm. It can't just be I was listening to the radio and I heard something, or a buddy told me at work. Like, okay, fine, make your claim, but where is it coming from?
Right.
So that way, if we want to dispute it, we'll have a competing article, and that way, your only defense isn't just, well, I mean, that's a Republican rag or whatever. It's like, well, no, if you want to actually have a real debate, be like, well, I have a competing article saying something different. But if your response is just that it's a rag, then you kind of lost right there.
Clinton and Obama and Bush, they're all of the same ilk. They all travel around with the same people. That you can see them in photos together, buddying up with one another. They're no different. They're really not any different. I mean, it's just that people can still be bamboozled by these politicians. That's probably the most amazing part of these elections, is that every 4 years they just continue to get suckered into one of these folks. And this year seems to be a little different in that people actually despise these candidates.
Yeah.
There's the highest number of angry voters than there has ever been. Like, people do not like these two main candidates. And I think that's a difference between this time and last time, where Obama had that whole change rhetoric, which, I guess 2008 was when he was really running the whole hope and change thing. And he had all that rhetoric, and people bought into it. Oh, hey, he's black. He's different. That must mean that, change is coming.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it's actually worse this time, or do you think that people are just more aware of what's going on? Because
when you say worse, what do you mean?
The candidates are at least openly worse, if not actually worse.
I think they're just as bad as any of them in the past, but I think people are more aware.
I mean, who do we have last time? Was it Mitt Romney?
Romney and Obama.
I mean...
and Gary Johnson,
like Romney,
and Jill Stein.
Like Romney is more of a legitimate candidate than Trump. I mean, they're all jokers. The only thing is that it's a lot easier to make fun of Trump because
Trump's more fun. I mean,
he's an insult comic that's running for president, so it's easier to take shots at him for that. But really, at the end of the day, they're all the same. And if it was up to the government, they would have one political party because that's really all they need.
Mm-hmm.
And
but that looks bad. It looks bad.
They need to have a sort of divide and conquer strategy. If you're on Team Democrat, instead of blaming the entire government, you can blame the Republicans. It's just like if you're a guy, you can blame all your problems on women or vice versa. It's the battle of the sexes, but with political parties.
I agree with you. It benefits them to have a second political party because, like you said, it divides people further. It keeps them more distracted. If you're in a dictatorship where there's one political party that wins every single time and they win with 100% of the vote or whatever, or there is no vote. If you're in one of those situations, then it's clear who the bad guys are, or it's at the very least clearer who the bad guys are, and people are more likely to galvanize against that. You're more likely to have an Arab Spring or an uprising of some sort, a coup.
Right. So it's this thing called tiptoe towards totalitarianism.
That's what they're doing here.
So of course they would love to have an autocracy. They would love to have, just one guy, dictator in charge of it all, one political party. But people would be pretty upset by that. They know they can't do that at least right away. Maybe one day if there's a bad enough terrorist attack and people are afraid enough. But not yet. Not yet. They got to bide their time.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. That allows you to join us here on the radio waves. And more coming up with Hillary. Leaked audio of her attacking Bernie Sanders supporters. Throw them under the bus. It's Free Talk Live.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Neely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-960-4295. I used to be so broke, I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-960-4295. 1-800-960-4295.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. HydroCare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free, bring up anything. Right here at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. You can Skype in and bring up, again, whatever is on your mind here on Free Talk Live. That's why we call the show Free Talk Live. If you like what we're doing here, then you can get behind us for $5 a month via the Free Talk Live AMP program. You go to amp.freetalklive.com, and you can sign up there with any major credit card via PayPal. You can use Visa or MasterCard right there on the site. Plus, we can now take Ampers with Bitcoin. So if you've been waiting on that, it's back. It's available. We've cut out the middleman. And that should mean we'll have Bitcoin from here on out as an AMP option. So go to amp.freetalklive.com. Your $5 a month makes a big difference for us on us helping us spread the ideas of liberty around the globe and around the United States. So again, please go to amp.freetalklive.com and learn about the perks you'll get access to, like the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group, as well as the AMP-only podcast. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. So we were talking about Hillary Clinton and some of the things she said during her campaign earlier this year. Leaked audio that has just recently come out. The story's coming from Politico.com. It's also been reported on The Intercept, where she's talking about Bernie Sanders supporters, and she's not being particularly nice about it. She's saying that there's a deep desire that they have to believe that we can have free college, free health care, and that what we've done hasn't gone far enough. So what she was saying earlier was that she wants to position herself in the space from the center left to the center right. So,
or wherever it's most convenient that year.
Does that mean that she believes herself to be dead in the center? Because if you are occupying the space from the center left to the center right, wouldn't that mean that you are describing yourself as directly in the center?
To a pure socialist, which is what Bernie Sanders is, and someone who's kind of a fascist, I mean, that might be accurate. I don't know that she, and again, like Trump, I don't know that she has like an actual position as much as she'll just say whatever. But she is more center than Sanders, and I mean, I don't think those complaints she has are particularly inaccurate
about Sanders supporters.
Yeah.
Well, she goes on. She says here, let's see, going on. While stressing the need to not serve as a wet blanket on idealism, Clinton paints fans of the then-surging Vermont senator as political newbies attempting to deal with an economy that has fallen short of their expectations. She said, quote, "Some are new to politics completely. They're children of the Great Recession, and they are living in their parents' basement. They feel they got their education and the jobs that are available to them are not at all what they envision for themselves, and they don't see much of a future." She then added, quote, "If you're feeling like you're consigned to, being a barista or, some other job that doesn't pay a lot and doesn't have some other ladder of opportunity attached to it, then the idea that maybe, just maybe, you could be part of a political revolution is pretty appealing." She went on to say, "I think we should all really be understanding of that," unquote. The audio, which according to the Free Beacon was revealed by hackers who breached the email account of a campaign staffer, surfaces the same week that Sanders hit the campaign trail to try to win those same young voters that Clinton has struggled to attract since clinching the Democratic nomination.
Certainly seems like she's been, busted on quite a few occasions.
Oh, yeah.
Of,
she's a snake.
Making offhanded comments that are incredibly inappropriate for somebody who wants to be the president of the United States.
I don't even see how this is. I think this is the first thing I've ever heard Hillary say that I agree with. I mean, yeah, they are kind of unreasonable and just want a bunch of free stuff. Mm-hmm. And I read somewhere a couple months ago where because when you make donations to candidates, you have to fill out these forms.
Yep.
Where the highest industry was unemployed among Bernie Sanders supporters,
Wow.
Which makes sense that most of the socialists and communists would be unemployed, or actually the other way. It makes sense that unemployed people would be socialists and communists.
Sure,
but yeah, I mean that nothing in there I've heard was untrue. That now Clinton's still an evil person, she's an evil person for other reasons, but those are valid complaints. Just wanting a bunch of free stuff. That's not, and
I totally get where you're coming from.
I guess I just don't really like her attitude. I'm not gonna.
Whose attitude, Hillary or Melanie?
Hillary's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you said her or your.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Hillary might be making a point. But
But she's throwing them under the bus.
You know what it is? She just comes off as a nasty person to me.
Absolutely.
She just comes off as a nasty
She's pandering
person.
to these same people now. So the same people that she looks down her nose at, she is now pandering to try to get their support.
Whatever is convenient.
And I think that while you may be correct in your analysis here, Melanie, that it's interesting that Hillary is such a, she's so two-faced, she's so duplicitous, and we should know this because she's a politician. But it's also important for those same young people who are idealistic and wrong in their support of socialism to find out about this stuff. Because if you're 18, 19, 20 years old, this is your first election at the national level, and we can't expect people coming into this to have the same wealth of knowledge that people who've been through this rodeo a few times.
I don't expect people who are 18, you just got freed if you live in the States, you're 18, to be a philosophically pure anarchist.
No, of course not.
Okay, but I was not a socialist when I was 18. I don't know how you go to an entry-level job and work, I can't say that, and work and get your paycheck and then look at it and be like, yeah, socialism sounds like a good idea. Look at all this money they're stealing.
Well, as you
from
said,
me.
they're unemployed, so maybe they don't even have jobs. Maybe they've never even had a job.
Well, yeah,
maybe Clinton's right. They're literally living in their parents' basement. And
right, but you were defending them on the grounds that they're 18. So, at 18, you haven't really necessarily. Most people.
No, I'm not defending them. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that it's important to let these people know that Hillary Clinton is not your friend, and that they should find out that politicians are liars. That even Bernie Sanders threw them under the bus.
Well,
after
yeah,
he was
and I agree with those points. But
you have to open their eyes to the reality of what's going on, and I think that this is useful for that to have Clinton coming out.
I don't see anything wrong with what she said there. She's horrible, and all politicians are horrible. She's horrible.
No,
she's horrible for other reasons. She's not horrible because she pointed out that you can't just have free stuff, and you're not. If you want to actually feel important, then maybe you should do something important. like other than support Bernie Sanders.
It's a fair point, but I almost wonder if she's got more of a problem with idealism than she does socialism, because it almost seemed to me like she's talking about these young new voters. It's almost like
they don't know the way the world works.
Let's crush the idealism out of your spirit.
Well, and if they're socialists, they don't know how the world works.
So you can be a jaded voter, and you can vote not based on what you think is right, but who you think is going to win, or who is the least worst candidate, which is pretty good for Hillary's campaign, because she's not the type of person who. She's not a Bernie. She's not a Ron Paul. She's not a statesman. She's a politician. So of course.
Okay, but like if you're running for office, you are a politician. Like that's the thing.
That's true, and probably by definition she's a statesman. But I don't have the definition of that in front of me at the moment. The toll-free number, even though she's a woman, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control of the airwaves here. You can bring up anything that you want. Coming up, an attack on California Highway Patrol, one of their patrol cars with an angry mob. We got video. It's Free Talk Live.
Diabetes is at war with your circulatory system. Fight back with Cardivite. Cardivite is a dietary supplement containing powerful herbs for circulation and healthy cardiac function. Improve your energy, stamina, and mental acuity. Reduce swelling, cold hands, and risk of amputation. Get your blood flowing with Cardivite. This 5-star rated product was developed by a diabetic pharmacist and is available online at www.getbloodflowing.com. That's www.getbloodflowing.com.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free 855-450-FREE and bring up anything that you want to discuss, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. Also, if you want, you can watch us on our webcams, which we have available for you at cam.freetalklive.com. It's available through YouTube as well as Facebook Live. So plenty of ways to watch and or listen to the show, all of them free. So again, enjoy all the free features that we have for you over at freetalklive.com. And let's go to Skype where David is on the line. Go ahead, David. You're on from New Mexico.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I wanted to take the opportunity to finish up a conversation we were having about debate ideas while we're still in the debate season here. And the last thing said on the topic of how to do better debates by coming up with a new debate system was you had the last word on it, and what you had said was that good ideas. However, it was highly structured, meaning a little bit complicated, cumbersome, and the government was having its fingers in it. If I'm repeating you correctly, that's what I heard you say. Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, you were proposing having a series of debates all around the country where it would be like open to anyone who wanted to come and debate, and that somehow the winners of those debates would move on into different tiers and then ultimately be at the national level. Was that kind of what you were proposing?
Yeah, kind of, and it might have sounded like it was more structured, but actually what I envisioned was something completely casual with no government involvement that the people don't agree on, and the only government involvement I'm leaving a possibility for anyway was if there's publicly funded monies for debate forums would be one.
Well, the government doesn't give up funding for something without strings attached to it. You understand that, right?
Well, I understand it, but I don't accept it, and I still adhere to "We are the people," and I'm rather.
But how does it work if? Okay, so you're saying there's no structure and that it's just people debating. Then how is a winner chosen, and how do they advance to the finals, so to speak?
Well, first of all, there's no formal finals, but the way that they advance is by popular acclaim. I mean, if I'm sitting in a room, whether there's 20 people in the room or there's 20,000 in the room, and there are people debating, then there's a million different ways to signal who defeated who, and the people that are the clear winners go on and are available. It's kind of like boxing. It's like, I got a record of 46-2, and you want to take me on? Let me see, what's your record?
But in boxing, there are a lot of rules, and there's judges, and there's a bunch of structure that exists around that.
But there's a lot of people making money off of boxing, and what I'm saying is we don't need any of that.
There's a lot of people making money off of elections too.
Yeah, and that's why we're not doing it their way. We're doing it this new improved way where the negativities of the current system are not allowed. So that's what I'm saying.
So what you're saying is people would debate on their own volition all around the country in your ideal vision here. They would be debating somehow through market decisions. We would determine who the winners of those debates would be from those people who are participating and watching them, and that ultimately somehow those winners would end up getting the nominations of the political parties?
Yeah, because under what I'm proposing, we the people would be in control. We're not. These debates are not happening with any control by the political parties. And if we have a debates, make it a popular.
The debates
sport.
are happening by the control of the political parties. They're the ones who set the rules.
I'm not talking. You have to completely throw that out. Get rid of.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's never going to happen.
And how are you going to get the people to show
we only
up
talk
to
about
these?
things that are ever going to happen. I thought we were having a
No,
discussion.
I agree with you that it's good to talk about things that could happen, but ultimately, if we're going to talk about fantasies, let's talk about just ending the United States and forget all this. Let's reorganize Washington D.C. I mean, if we're going to get into fantasy land, let's go that direction rather than let's reorganize the chairs on the deck chairs on the Titanic.
But actually, see, I don't concede that it is a fantasy. I think it's entirely real.
What makes you think you can convince politicians who benefit from restricted debates to open up to the system you're talking about?
I don't need to convince them. All I do is we start debating people, and it grows because it's a good thing. It happens. It grows. It happens, and it grows.
But they have no obligation to take whoever it is you think won these debates.
Well, when you have the entirety of the population of the United States, if you happen
the entirety of the population will never get behind anything because they all disagree on stuff.
Population of those that choose to participate. How's that for a better statement?
Well, then I say go out there and start making these debates then. I mean, if it doesn't require a government program to happen, then, you should be able to get a foothold if indeed people want to listen to a bunch of crazy people debate one another.
Well, you wouldn't be listening to crazy people debate one another. I mean, in actuality, this forum you have here is a debate forum. What you have is one debate venue, and are you all a bunch of crazy people? No.
Arguably, yes.
I mean, kinda.
We moved to New Hampshire in order to achieve more liberty in our lifetime by putting our own, in a lot of cases, freedom on the line. So, that's a pretty crazy thing to do.
Well, and also the more important point there is like the DNC and the RNC are not listening to what we have to say. They're not going to pick me or Ian to be the next candidate.
But you don't need them to, because under what I'm saying, what would happen organically is people would naturally get behind the natural leaders, and the existing political structure would not have a chance and would become irrelevant, which I think, if I've been listening to you guys correctly, is kind of what you want, and it's kind of what you're selling.
That's not necessarily the way to do it, because they're not going to become irrelevant because they still have tanks and drones and a bunch of people debating each other.
And they set the rules. They're the ones who write the rules.
They don't have tanks and drones, and they don't set the rules.
Yes, they do.
The United States federal government absolutely has tanks and drones.
Yeah, and they're the ones who set the election rules that make all the determinations for who qualifies.
If the people take the government and I'm not even talking by force.
Well, now you're talking Melanie's language here. Take a violent takeover.
By force, because force won't even be necessary when your government with our tanks and drones that they're operating currently is faced with 100 million people that are supporting this one guy. They don't have a chance. They just have to back down.
Well, that's a nice thing to say, but I just don't. I wish you the best of luck making this happen, man, because it sounded to me like you said you needed taxpayer funding for this.
No, I don't need it. I said that was something that I would allow. You don't need it at all, because you can debate for free. You can debate in a church. You can debate in a community center. You can debate on Free Talk Live.
Right, but most people don't want to go and see debates. They did, for the most part, if you're talking about people that are unknowns, they're not going to attract an audience. They're not going to attract a crowd. They're not going to attract 100 million people. But you're right, though. If somebody does have the support of 100 million people, then there's a good chance that they'll get nominated by some political party because they have enough support behind them. And if you think that that's what this can lead to, then, I say go ahead, start scheduling debates and see if you can, get the grassroots support for this to happen. What are you waiting for?
I'll also say, just because a person comes up with an idea doesn't mean they are the one that's obligated to make the entire thing happen. In fact, one person can't do that.
Sure.
And so that's that. I do bother to take the time to interrupt my day to spend whatever minutes on the phone presenting ideas instead of taking it to my grave.
That's true. A lot of times, though, usually it's, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. So it can be useful to spread an idea. And like if you had some sort of website or something that you wanted to promote about this to try to recruit other people to help you with it, you could do that. I just think you're up against a wall of apathy, my man, and it ain't going to break down just because a few more people are having debates. Thank you for the call tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I mean, look, I like a good debate and everything, but I don't want to spend a bunch of time watching them.
Well, I mean, and they can be fun to watch, but they're not going to dissolve the government.
No doubt. Toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. Yeah, I'm not looking to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. I'm hoping it sinks faster. It's Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Think about this. Your community's aging water infrastructure systems are very likely to be contaminated with heavy metals like lead, disinfection chemicals like ammonia, chlorine and chloramines, and pharmaceuticals like statins, pain meds, and antidepressants. And no, water treatment plants are not equipped to filter these pharmaceutical toxins out. Protect your family's water supply with the trusted Big Berkey water filter. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show Big Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria, and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification, and our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
On the second Saturday of every month, the Texas Republic Congress meets in a joint session. To learn how you can attend or become a member of Congress, visit thetexasrepublic.com. And together, we can liberate Texas.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us in these remaining moments. We have enough time for you. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also want to invite you over to check out the 101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire. It's a great documentary film, about an hour long, and they really do pack in 101 reasons into a 1 hour long presentation. So it is rapid fire, lots of really interesting information about why New Hampshire is such a special place, and why, if you're a libertarian, a voluntarist, or a liberty-loving anarchist, you really owe it to yourself to take just an hour of your time and learn about why New Hampshire is the destination for those kind of people who really understand what freedom means. Go to 101reasonsfilm.com and check it out there. It's free. You can watch it online anytime you want. Jimbo is on the line in Paradise Valley, Arizona. Hey, Jimbo.
First, tell the truth, then give your opinion, Ian Freeman.
Are you suggesting I didn't tell the truth, James?
I'm not suggesting you have not when it comes to me, but that's another
Moving
story
on.
for another day. Yeah, I know. You're not sorry for it either, but you will be.
Okay.
Anyway, Melanie, you're an anarchist, right?
Yes.
But you're going to vote.
I'm sorry?
But you're talking about voting for the lesser of evils, whatever. Are you going to vote, being an anarchist?
I don't know what I'm going to do in the presidential election yet. I don't think I was talking about voting for the lesser of two evils. I think I was talking about trying to figure out what to do.
You were talking about voting. Okay, I'm just trying
I
to
was
square the
talking about
circle.
voting, yes. I do vote.
Yeah, an anarchist voting.
You even had the bumper sticker.
That doesn't make one an anarchist in my mind if you vote, but that's okay. I'm
Well,
not
it
telling you
doesn't
not
make
to
me
vote,
an
Melanie.
anarchist. It doesn't make me not an anarchist either.
Right, an anarchist would be somebody who is against having rulers.
I know what an anarchist is.
Well, maybe
Then
the
anyway,
listeners
Melanie.
don't. Thanks, James.
May I speak?
You've been speaking.
Okay, Melanie, I just want to bring up something else, because I would be totally for and be participating in and planning and plotting violent overthrow of the government if I believe Tower 7 were taken down and that 9/11 was an inside job, like I heard you guys talking with this stupid kid named Parker who's been overdosing on Liberdopian radio.
Well, I don't know
and
if
believes that 9/11.
Melanie believes that, so I don't think you should put
I know,
words in her
but
mouth.
this was 2 weeks ago. I didn't put words in her mouth. I said I'd be an advocate in plotting and planning violent overthrow of the government if I believe, like Cody does, that 9/11 was an inside job. And it's fascinating to me that many people...
Well, maybe that's because you're a
sad
violent
thing.
person, James. Maybe Cody is...
I haven't ever committed violence against anybody.
If I knew how to effectively...
Melanie, may I say something? Ian Bernard just lied about me. I'm not a violent person.
I didn't tell a lie. I said
shape or
maybe
form.
you're this way. Okay, now you're saying you're
No,
not a
you said
violent
I'm a
person.
violent
Maybe you think about violence a lot. Maybe there's violence in your heart. Maybe there's anger in your
Really?
mind, and
When
that's why
is
you're
it?
thinking about
There is
that.
anger about lying. I swear to God, there is anger.
Yeah,
in
I
me
mean, you've
about
gotten on the
having lied
airwaves
about
and
me.
actually made
And
open
you will pay
threats.
for it. I'm not.
How am I going to
threatening
pay
you,
for it,
Bernard. You're a
James?
liar.
How am I going to pay for it? Go ahead.
You're either going to pay me Bitcoin, all of it that you have. You're going to pay two ways, physically or financially, or both.
Physically.
Because if you ever lied to my face, I wouldn't hesitate. And by the way,
So
Melanie,
you believe
think
someone
if I were to-
saying something you don't agree with or that may not be true deserves violence, is what you're saying.
No, you've defamed me on public airwaves and done it shamelessly and called me a liar.
You
never
keep
called
calling
me a
back
liar
in,
to my
James.
face.
You appear to love it. I mean, you
Isn't
just
this show
appear
called
to
Free
love to
Talk
get into
Live?
these
Anybody
conversations
call it?
with us.
Oh, I don't
You
like-
you seem to, on
Anybody
one
can
hand,
listen
hate
to
it.
James and-
You act like you're so butthurt
I
over
almost
these
hate
things,
you.
but yet you continue to call in.
Of course, anybody can call in. It's called so-called Free Talk Live. I'm just a caller to a radio show. I'm not the one that Googled you on the internet and put up things about you on the internet on Free Talk Live's webpage.
Yep.
I don't
Actually,
do
it was
such
our
things. I'm
listeners
not a
who
troll.
Googled you. It was our listeners
No,
who Googled you.
Actually, and you posted on Free Talk Live, and Mark Edgington has posted those lies as well. On
You
Free
mean
Talk
when
Live's
Mark
webpage.
Edge posts the actual
Mark
quotes?
Edgington.
You know,
That's
you mean when Mark actually
That's
posts
right.
actual
I
quotes
plead,
from
I
you?
plead guilty to
that-
mocking Mark Edgington. I plead guilty to that. I plead guilty to mocking somebody, blowing up his house with him in it, him being an accessory to murder, and celebrating the deaths of people in the
So that was just
Pentagon
mocking.
who
You were just
murdered on
mocking
a-
him when you were talking about how his family might die in a fiery explosion in
No.
their home.
He said the fact of the matter is, and I quote, the fact of the matter is, and you can watch it on YouTube, March 23rd, 2014, he actually screams into the microphone.
Yeah,
The
he's
fact
got
of the
anger
matter is
issues
that
just
people-
like you. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah.
Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I mean, I don't know. Like, in that weird credibility attack he made against me and or Cody.
Yeah, you guys are
If
bad guys.
If I knew how to effectively overthrow the government and had the means to do so, like, I would do it. So I don't know how not having done it yet makes me not an anarchist. I think that's really silly.
Well, he just thinks that anarchists should all be plotting violence because that's what he believes about anarchists.
Well,
Which,
I mean,
just because you're an anarchist doesn't mean you believe in violent overthrow.
I was confused on one point. So
just one? Wow, you're doing pretty good then.
The one involving me because I'm selfish.
Yeah, of course.
So okay, for me to possibly believe that 9/11 may have been an inside job.
Which you believe, right?
Right. So is he saying that, like, oh, you're being lazy, you should be overthrowing the government because you believe these things?
I think
it almost seemed like
what
that's
he was saying.
sort of what he was getting at.
Yeah, sure. Somebody like James would get his rocks off on seeing you die at the hands of the police or me die at the hands of the police.
And like the reason why, and I know that this isn't true of you, Ian, and I don't know what Cody's position on it is, but like the reason why I don't do something about it is because I have no way to do that, and because if I tried, it would just be a cost with no benefit. So
you'd end
it's
up
not
dead.
time to do that. Like, it would accomplish nothing. It is a very bad idea to kill state agents. Like, it's a bad plan. It's not a NAP violation if you're talking about
NAP is the non-aggression principle.
If you're talking about cops and other law enforcement officers, if you're talking about like librarians, then it is. That is a NAP violation. Don't do it. But it's a bad plan. Like, it's going to get you killed and accomplish nothing. The state is still going to be there when
not only will the
you're
state
dead
be there
tomorrow.
afterwards, but the state will likely aggravate more power to itself or aggregate more power to itself because it'll use you as the example of, hey, all you law-abiding citizens out there was this crazy woman who started shooting up her local city hall because she wanted to, or, started shooting at the White House or whatever the plan would be for overthrow. How you do that, I don't know. But, whatever violent act you would supposedly take, they would then say, see, this is why we need the police. This is why we need Bearcats. This is why we need, more tanks and trucks and guns.
I don't know if that's...
They would totally use the violent person as an excuse.
They would use that as like a headline, but they're calling for these things anyway. They're calling for a police state anyway. They're calling for Bearcats anyway.
This justifies it in their minds, and it justifies it in the minds of the people. Now, this brings me into the short story that I mentioned earlier in the hour. It's about a mob of people who actually attack a police cruiser, a California Highway Patrol cruiser. A police officer, this according to the Washington Post, was responding to several calls about illegal street racing and reckless driving and found himself surrounded by a mob of angry people, some of whom yelled and cursed at him while others hit and kicked his vehicle as he sat inside. F the police, we run the streets, said some of the angry people, according to the Fresno Police Chief Jerry Dyer. The incident happened on September 25th as Fresno PD and California Highway Patrol received reports of large crowds blocking traffic a few miles outside of downtown Fresno. A California Highway Patrol officer who was first on scene spotted a reckless driver and got out of his vehicle to make a traffic stop. However, people, again, large crowd of people in this area, they then began yelling at the driver to leave. The driver sped away, and the officer then went back to his vehicle to chase the driver. But what happened next was pretty amazing, and unfortunately, there's not full video of this that I found yet, but that's when a crowd of about 30 to 40 people surrounded the officer's sport utility vehicle. So the officer was able to get back in his car, but he was unable to actually leave the scene and give chase to the driver. So the crowd of people on the ground actually acted as they played interference. They ran interference on this guy. They protected the driver. The driver got away, and the officer wasn't able to actually get away fast enough.
Are you in favor of or opposed to this? Because you seemed kind of happy about it during the break, but this is violent.
This is, well, they didn't actually hurt the man. They just kicked his car.
Okay, but jumping somebody, physically attacking their car, preventing them from leaving, that's violence. No. I think it's defensive force, clearly.
Right, preventing an officer from attacking a peaceful person. Now, maybe he was reckless driving, I don't know. But preventing an officer from doing more damage, bringing more violence into an already possibly dangerous situation.
Kind of getting rid of the officer accomplishes the same thing. It might feel different because you're not watching them do it, but they get up every morning, and at a bare minimum, if they put on a uniform, they are committing assault to everyone who sees them.
No doubt. I don't think it's a bad thing for people who see a cop attacking somebody to stop the attack.
Well, what about threats?
I don't want to see
wearing a uniform is a threat.
I don't want to see anybody get killed. And in this case, the officer was eventually able to drive away. So they backed off after a little bit.
Right, but once you start a violent confrontation, you have no control of how much it escalates.
That's true. That cop could have escalated the situation. We're out of time, though, for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night. Online in the meantime, freetalklive.com. I'll post the video on our Facebook and Twitter.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
This is your Roberts & Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Monday, gold is $2 higher at $1,314 per ounce, and silver is down 11 cents at $19.12 per ounce. Bitcoin is currently trading at $609. The recent pullback in silver has created a great opportunity to buy on a dip. To get started today, give Roberts & Roberts Brokerage a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let